and you were going to be on, buddy.
So what's the entryway? Guys are coming in this way, or?
We're going to come around this way, yeah.
So you should get over there, Steve.
I'm going to hand it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I want to get you on, too.
What's that?
I want to get you on at the beginning.
Okay.
I'm good.
Lemons?
Nah, I'm good.
Just here for you.
I wish that was like that in all my life. I wish it was like that in my entire life.
Me too.
We're on. We're gone. Hey guys, welcome to and learn from the Mona Cigar Lounge in Richmond, Virginia. I'm Michael Giannini. Hey guys and ladies, thank you so much for joining us. We are on live and ready to go. Absolutely honored that you're all on a wonderful Thursday night. It is stinking cold here. It's like going to be like -0, and I know the rest of the country is that as well. So let's just light up a cigar. I'm smoking a Siriar Esteli. Light up a cigar. Sit back. I know we have a lot of questions. I haven't looked at any of them, so let's have some fun. So I want to introduce Amir, but he's running around here. Here you can hear a little bit of the background, but this place is starting to fill up, and it's pretty exciting to have all this energy around. So I want to bring on one of the guys that helped me out, Steve. Come on in here. Say
hey,
hello,
everybody.
Steve.
Great to be here with you, Michael. It's always a pleasure.
My pleasure. Tell everybody what you do, and first of all, I want to thank you for helping me set this up. You were able to get all the fun stuff we're going to give away. These guys are going to be shocked, and ladies are going to be shocked what we're giving. So tell everybody what you do.
I'm excited to be here. Can't wait to see the questions that come in. I work in the marketing department on La Gloria and Cohiba and Partagas and work a lot with Michael and get to see creativity come to life and his visions. It's interesting. I'm right down, my office is right next to his, and I get to hear a lot of that creativity bubbling up from way down deep. So it's great to be here, and I'm looking forward to the night.
So Steve, thank you so much.
I appreciate it, Michael.
It's great having you on, and he's going to be hanging out here tonight. I want to bring our wonderful guest in. Everybody, you met him last time we did this. He's been a wonderful host and great guy. Before I introduce him, came back from Miami Tuesday night. It had snowed like 10 inches, right, Amir?
That's right.
And we're getting our bags at the terminal. I turn around, and there's this beautiful, like 800-foot billboard of this wonderful cigar lounge. So please tell everybody out there.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. My name is Amir. I met most of you last year. I'm the owner of the Mona Lounge and Cigar Bar located in Short Pump. And if you are nearby or if you pass by, please stop by. It's a full bar, full kitchen, 100 different selection of cigars, live music. I bet you're going to have a good time.
So wait, you got to do the old, thing. So you got a website so people can check you out.
That's right. That's right. You can visit us on at monaloungecigarbar.com. We are on Facebook, on Twitter as well. Please stop by. If you come by once a week and introduce yourself, I'll look forward to meeting you.
Amir.
Yes, sir.
This is an amazing place.
Well,
you
thank
should
you.
see the artwork here. The selection of liquor is unbelievable. We just all had a little snack, which was an amazing meal. And if you're in Richmond, Virginia, in the Glen Allen area, in the Short Pump area, it's one of the more high-end, nicer areas of Richmond. It's not as old, and Amir's done an amazing job here. So if you guys are looking for somewhere to smoke, this is the place. I'm here quite a bit. I know Amir gets tired of seeing me, but I'm honored to be here with you. So thank you for opening up your wonderful place to us.
Well, thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Amir.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Pleasure. So, tonight we got a lot of fun stuff to give away, and so I thought I probably would start off bit about my history. If you don't know anything about me, I want to tell you how I got into the cigar business and what I've been doing my entire career. I am a product of immigrant parents from Italy. My mom and dad literally came to the United States in the 50s. They lived during World War II. So I grew up in the Alany section of Philadelphia, which is really the inner city. And the coolest thing about that was there were families that were from Italy on my block. There were families from Germany that were from Germany on my block. There was also a family from Ireland that was on my block. And little did I know, and I look back at this and chuckle, there was a family in the late 60s that came in from Cuba. I had no idea where Cuba was, but they were a wonderful family. The father actually became a chef, and he would cook for his pets. He had 2 cats. His wife would cook for the pets and always bring food back from the restaurant. Had no idea where Cuba was, and what a foreboding, foreshadowing thing for me to end up in the cigar business. So my entire career path was I started a dishwasher. I got promoted to a pot. By the time I was 18, I was so curious, I ended up becoming a chef. And that was kind of my career. My parents forced me and my sister to go to college, basically because they came to this for a different living, and we had to get educated. So I went to college. I ended up graduating with a degree in psychology, minored in bio, and my path was to get a PhD in psychology. And while I was doing that, I figured, 2 things I need. One, I need a tweed jacket. I love clothes, so that was an easy part. The other thing, I thought I needed to get a pipe. So ended up going to a local smoke shop. After about 3 months, this young guy says, "Hey man, you're always here. What do you do?" Told him what I did. I taught during the day, and at that time, I was working with mentally retarded, mentally ill kids in an institution in Philadelphia called the Woodhaven Center. And at night I was working on my master's at Temple University, and on the weekends I was a chef. So he's like, "I need a guy to help me blend pipe tobacco." So I'm like, "When do I start?" Well, little did I know that my other interests kind of disappeared, really moving more towards the cigar part of it. So I started blending tobacco. I was a clerk in a smoke shop in the Chamonix Mall in Philadelphia, if anybody knows where that's at. And from there, we ended up buying a shop together in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and then we bought an independent manufacturer's rep. So I would literally spend 3 weeks, 3,000 miles on the road, going from Philadelphia all through the South and heading back home by myself. Really loved and learned that part of the business really well before the cigar industry became what it was. And I with a professional cigar company. I sold my business after the cigar boom. I ended up working for that company. I became in 2000. I became the national sales manager for Gloria, Cubana, and I worked under one of my great mentors in the industry, Ernesto Perez Carrillo. What's interesting about that, up until that point, I thought I knew a lot about the cigar industry, about pipes, about all that, until I actually walked into a factory with Ernesto, and I was blown away at how much I didn't know. So instead of doing what I was supposed to be doing with Ernesto, I was asking too many questions and driving everybody nuts, and I really learned a whole nother side of what tobacco was. From there, we ended up being merged in with General Cigar, and this is corporate stuff that happened behind the scenes, and then I became a marketing guy. Ernesto left in 2009 to start his company with his kids. Took over the Gloria Cubana brand, but behind the scenes I did pretty much everything. Ernesto worked on blends, so I got to be his taste tester and got to taste a lot of his great blends, and I became the guy that worked on all the packaging, all the marketing, fun stuff. I had no idea what that all meant, but I just enjoyed doing that. And so in 2009 I started in some really interesting things about, with La Gloria Cubana, really bringing out some really unique and cool innovations, and I started blending with my guys. So I had a lot of experience doing that, but I wasn't in charge of that, and that's when we formed Team La Gloria. And then a couple of years ago, I had this great idea, which we'll talk about later on today, about Foundry Tobacco Company. It's my alter ego, and so what that I get to do there is to be very, very super creative and do some very interesting things, which we'll talk about later. So even though I never got a PhD in psychology, 34 years later in September, as I've been in the cigar industry, this is pretty much all I've done in my adult life. So for those of you who don't know my background, it's interesting when I was younger how things happened and how I was kind of guided. Until I got 20 years into this, I never realized how truly blessed I was, because I really found my true passion and calling in life at a very young age, and I just didn't realize it. So my only advice to you is keep your head down, just drive for what you want to do. Your gut instincts, go with your heart, and all the other. times. But my greatest accomplishment is my parents that had nothing, and I had nothing. I think that hunger made me even hungrier to be successful. But the success I've had is really a tribute to my mom and dad. As immigrants, they weren't really well educated. They actually, put a great house under us and showed us what the hard work gets you. And so really it's an honor to my mom. She's around. She's 83 years old. And to me, every time I'm successful, I always pay tribute to her because her life is validated in my eyes, even though she's an amazing woman, and my dad was as well. So that's my story. I just wanted to share that with you guys. If you truly don't know who I am, that's who I am. So, cool stuff. I've got a lot of fun stuff here. We have a ton of questions, so I have not looked at these questions just because the few guys that I have here, I have a friend of mine, Greg, who is, I kind of recruited him to come in and ask me questions. So, Greg, you had no idea. So come on in here, Greg. I want to introduce everybody, a really good friend of mine, Greg, who actually came by the office today, and I'm like, hey, bro, what are you doing tonight? So here's what I want you to do is ask some questions. So, how are you, Greg? Thank you so much for being on camera.
It's an honor. Thank you.
Bro.
All right, so
I think you need a haircut, though. Look at
getting
this.
a little long, kind of hippie-ish. So, all right, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So we got questions. Our first one's from Russell Humphrey,
Russell.
and he asks, as you see the industry going through so many changes, how will you help keep La Gloria Cubana ahead of the curve?
So, you know what? It's like a game plan that I've always had. I have a vision for where I want to take La Gloria Cubana and Foundry. Was it Foundry or La Gloria? Or both?
La Gloria.
La Gloria. So, my vision for La Gloria and Foundry are basically the same. I have a vision for both brands. I kind of know where I want to go with that. I mean, I pay attention to what everybody's doing because I'm really a student of the industry. But I'm not so concerned about what the new trend is or what the new fad is. I like doing things that I think brand for La Gloria Cubana. La Gloria Cubana, brand that's been around for, since the 80s. It really became popular in the 90s. And so this whole mentality of what the essence of Little Havana is and what we do with tobacco and how we express that into the packaging and kind of cool stuff like that is truly what I state. And what the for me is, I am part of company. We're the biggest cigar company in the U.S. and I have 3 factories I can tap into. We have a lot of tobacco and resources that we go after. So I'm always talking to our tobacco guys. What do you have? What do you have? What do you have? And interesting. I was in Miami this week. Part of that conversation was we were looking into the future, and the future for us is this year and next year. And they already found some very unique and proprietary tobaccos for us. So that gets my brain. And here's what I want to kind of create. So I have a game plan of what I want to do. I know what I want to do with the brand, and so I kind of execute it that way, and I hope you guys kind of get that as well. So to kind of elaborate on that, I mean, Siriar Esteli and Siriar Black are 2 brands that were released about 2 years ago. That was in my thought process literally for 2 years, and my idea was that I wanted to really our Nicaraguan factory, but again, that I said to you, 2 things we can never have in our house as Italian immigrants. Nothing frozen and nothing canned. And to me, my mom and dad would say that's a Matagon food. And because that was a Matagon food, everything had to be fresh. So that kind of stuck in my brain. And because we had a factory in Nicaragua, I figured, you know what? I want to pull the components, all the components, literally from from Nicaragua, the fillers, the binders, pull them into our factory, and the boxes were designed that are actually on our tables in the factory. So I wanted to have like this locally fresh and grown kind of thing. And so literally you're going in your backyard and you're picking this. And that's how that came out. But it literally took us 2 years to come up with a new, fuller bodied, so to speak, La Gloria Cubana. But until I had the wrappers, I couldn't do that. And so I waited, and I waited, and I waited. And I'm so happy we did that because the end result of we're doing very well with the brand. It's very well accepted. We were top 25 cigars for Cigar Aficionado 2014. That's a great accolade, but I'm not really worried about getting accolades. It's more about that you guys appreciate what we're doing. Not only me, but the hard work of all our rollers and our growers and our tobacco folks. So that's what's most important to me.
So kind of tapping into what you're just speaking about, David Littlejohn Jr. asked, how does the Siriar Esteli differ from the Siriar Black?
So, great question, David. So, the thing is, when I was working on these two blends. There's a mountain in Jalapa where this guy actually has 5 different farms, and the 5 different farms are disconnected, which is very unique and interesting to me because I knew that because they weren't connected, different areas, different zones where you grow tobacco have different components. So literally, you could go 10 feet over this way, and for whatever reason, act of God and nature and the atmosphere stuff, you don't get the same fullness of it. When we were trying these 2 cigars, it came down, we had 5 blends, we came down to 2 cigars. I couldn't decide between each one of them, and I thought these are so wonderful that, it'd be neat to do both. So, the Esteli is one of those strains of that wrapper off the mountain, and the Syriar Black is a different. The fillers and binders are a little bit different from the Jalapa Valley. So technical about what we use in the fillers, nor do I want to tell you the secret what we blended with, but they're unique and they're a little bit different. The 2 wrappers are a little bit different, but basically from the same area. So it's like getting Jersey tomatoes versus tomatoes that we get in Virginia, Hanover, or Heritage tomatoes. It's just that subtle of a difference. So it's very different, and you can have arguments about that. So that's why you have both of these blends. So you need to try both of them, and you'll see the difference. It's very unique, and you'll see how wonderful both of these are.
Great. So, all right.
Greg, how you doing here? Answer questions. Are
I'm
you
doing
good?
great.
It's first time on camera, so
Yeah, this is
you're
exciting.
doing really well.
So, all right. So, obviously, last time we saw you, some people have noticed, and I was at IPCPR, had the fortune of talking to you there, that certain things have changed. And it was the one thing that a lot of people noticed right away. And so it's a question from 2 individuals.
Okay.
And the first one from Lou Aiello asks,
Yes,
how did you
Lou.
lose all that weight?
So to date, I've lost 93 pounds. Okay, so why did I do that? When you start getting older, you start realizing that you're not invincible. And my sister is a nurse, and my sister said to me on my 50th birthday, she said to me, people that in the 50s have a lot of catastrophic issues, and if you can get out of your 50s, you're actually going to sail through your. This is when strokes and heart attacks and all that fun stuff happens. And she says, you, not so much. And I looked at her like in shock. Like, listen, I see life and death all the time, and I want my brother around, and that really hit me in my heart. So I had some, issues in health, and it was a wake-up call to me. You need to get yourself healthy. I want to be around. I've got a lot in this brain that I want to bring out to the marketplace. And so part of that was I really changed my diet. I was the president of the Meatitarian Society, and I loved eating meat. I grew up eating meat as an Italian kid, and I finally said, you know what? I've eaten every animal on the planet, every two-legged fowl and fish. And I said, I just need to get a very pristine diet. And it's amazing what you do when you get dedicated and you get your mind focused on doing something. And I've done that my entire life. And this, to me, was probably one of the easiest things because I had my head right and I just went down and did it. And so I just changed my diet. I'm much healthier now. 93 pounds is kind of cool. I'm still the same guy. Everybody looks at me, and they react like, wow, you lost a lot of weight. And I mean, I still see the same chubby guy in the mirror during the day, but I know I'm much healthier, and I get to do a lot more of these and get to be creative. So, thank you. I don't like to preach to people, but life is short and enjoy, and I realized that before I had that issue. So, God tapped me on the shoulder, was like, hey, dude, you need to wake up and just kind of get, squared away. So, that's what I've done, and thank you so much for noticing.
So, we've had a few questions here.
How you doing, bro?
Let's give something away, bro.
Yeah, you know what? I just got the word that we need to give something away. So you know what we're going to give away? Steve, what are you going to have?
I hand you a Syriar Black.
Syriar Black. Look at this.
You need like a Rod Roddy sort of impersonation of Syriar.
Syriar Black. Yeah, but you know what? We don't want to get sued like by Michael Buffer or whatever, right? Doesn't he have that trademark? So how are we giving this away, fellas?
Oh, what do you think? Yeah.
You know what? I think...
We actually found one that just came in off of Twitter.
Okay.
And I like this because it's a follow-up to what you just talked about. This is from at cigar_doc. And he not really
So does he win this box?
I think so.
All right, but wait, we don't know what the question is. So how do we know?
Well, it's not so much it's a statement.
Okay.
So Cigar Doc says, you're the best dressed man in the business.
You know what? Flattery wins everything. So thank you, Doc. All right, so that wins. So
You want to sign his name?
Doc, can I autograph this on camera?
It's Robert. It's
Robert, oh.
Robert from our society, from the Elders.
Oh, so
Society.
okay, bro, you know how to suck up, don't you? Sorry, guys, why I do this. There you go, Doc. That's for you. So if you guys didn't get a clue about how to suck up, and not that we want you to do that, but that's for you. We'll ship this out. Enjoy. Thank you, Steve.
All right, so we'll do another kind of fun question, and then we'll dig back into to some of the hard-hitting
I love
questions.
that.
All right, so this one is from Zoran Basic, who I assume is from your hometown.
Z-Man. You know what the problem with Z-Man is? I love him to death, but he's a Giants fan, and I'm a Philly Eagles fan. So
okay. So
he always breaks my chops, and you know.
So that leads into the question. What's up, bro? Do you think the Eagles will win the division next year?
Absolutely. Giants don't have a chance, and you know what, bro? You need to wake up and just be an Eagles fan. It's not a bad thing to be both. Z-Man, love you. Thank you so much.
All right, so let's get into a little bit, maybe a tougher question.
Sure.
All right, so this one's from Rob. I'm sorry, Rob, I can't pronounce your last name. Nirodzik, perhaps.
Okay.
Either
Hey,
way.
Rob.
So when conceptualizing a new brand or a new blend, can you tell me about the process in blending? Do you find inspiration in food or music and strive to make a blend to suit it?
Wow, what a great question, Rob. So what's the process? So the process is fascinating. When I'm thinking about a new brand, it always starts with the ingredients, and this is where I kind of go back with my chef days. You know, it's always about the great ingredients, and the brand that I want to create, and then the brand starts to talk to me about what do I want it to be. And then I get to taste a lot of different cigars and tobaccos, so specifically wrappers. I get to taste some blends, and I kind of store stuff in my head. And what's interesting about that is, you know, as a chef, you should taste everything. And as a cigar smoker, I taste everybody's brands. I think everybody's doing an amazing job out there. But I'm the kind of guy that's always trying to tinkering and pulling stuff apart. I mean, be it clothes or cars, I'm always trying to design stuff, and how can I make it better? So blending for me it's a bunch of different things, and I can't put it down to one thing, but it's got to have a platform for me, meaning that I got to really understand what I want to do with this brand, what makes sense at that point, and then what tobacco kind of speaks to that as well. And so when we get into the actual blending, that's really both a science but mostly an art. And why I find that such an art is it's amazing. You can take a Lajero pick any country, but you can pick a Viso, which is a specific type of tobacco or type of tobacco that you use in a filler. You could take a half a leaf of that and we'll change the complete complexity of the blend. So having a really good palate, and I think I do, is that you can taste subtleties that, you know, you can taste, hey man, there's a little bit too much here, there's a little too less. One of the coolest things I love to do, and if you look at my cigar, one of the things we always do if we're trying a new wrapper is literally I'll take a cutter and I'll just cut a circle of it and just pull off the wrapper to see what the filler and binder does. And then I'll smoke it like this, I'll pick a piece of it, and then I'll let it catch back up. And this is the wrapper, being the most important part of this cigar, will tell you if it either adds or detracts from it. And if it adds to it, then maybe it's a filler or a binder piece. And knowing that tobaccos, I'll know what those tastes are, and that's how we kind of down. So it's a long process, a lot of experimentation. What I do once the blends are done is I will take them back with me. And what I've learned is, these are the arguments I've gotten to with the guys in the factory. And I kind of mentioned this last time we did this. Cigars always smoke great in the factories. And you think that after you get a blend, man, we've got the greatest blend that's ever been made on the planet. So, hey man, send me 25 of these cigars. I'll come back to Richmond in my office and I will just smoke them for breakfast, after breakfast, and throughout the day. And then literally I'll call up the factory and I'm like, man, you guys didn't send me the right cigars. And we get in arguments about this. But what I've learned is this. It's not that they didn't send me the cigars. What happens with tobacco, because it has to marry, is to me, it's been about 45 days when you truly know what the tobacco is about to be. That blend is about to be actualized, so to speak. So everything's got to melt together, and at 45 days, to me, it kind of gets stabilized, and then you know when you have a blend. So if you think about this, you start making blends, and you make blends, and you make blends, and you make blends, and then you find one that you like, and then you go back, and it's 45 days. You think you have something, you want to tweak it, you go back, it's another 45 days, and you can kind of add the timeline of how long this will take you to come up with something that you truly, truly like. And then my criteria is I do smoke cigars throughout the entire day. I am constantly, because what I'm eating and how I'm feeling and what I'm doing, your palate changes throughout the day. And so after that happens for me for about a week, it consistently hits on all those things, then I'm there and I'm like, hey, let's go. I think we got the blend. But it's not just me. I have a team of 5 guys that I work with that in our office that I love their palates, I trust their judgment, and so we all got to raise our hand and say, that's the blend that we want, and they understand what I'm trying to do. So, it's not cooking, because you can, you see your grandmother or your mom make a dish, and you're like, yeah, you know what, that's easy. I can make spaghetti and meatballs, and then you try to replicate and you watch it. It's not. It just doesn't work that way, because for whatever magic touch of making it, and that's kind of the fleeting moment of perfection that you never get to, and so that's what I'm always looking for with a blend. And so we're absolutely, I kind of like it, and all my guys like it. That's when we bring stuff out. I don't really worry about timelines. I don't really worry about that, even though I do get pressured. Hey man, when are you bringing this out? But if I don't like it and my team doesn't like it, I know you guys are probably not going to like it, and I'm not going to do that, because I am a cigar smoker first that actually has a cool job that I get to make stuff.
Yeah. So we have a couple of questions here from some esteemed members, the Gloria Society members. We'll start off with the one and only Ryan Wellner.
Hey Ryan.
So
what's up, brother?
He has some. It's a topic that I think a lot of cigar smokers are talking about.
Yep.
And he asks, with Cuba's cigar ban eventually going away, part 1, any plans on a Cuban blend? And then part 2, how do you think it's going to affect the industry?
Wow. So, great question, Ryan. I hope you're staying warm in Pennsylvania. It's not much different here. Cuba has been one of those things that I luckily have had the opportunity to smoke a lot of Cuban blends, and some of the greatest cigars I've smoked have been Cuban, and some of the worst cigars I've had are Cuban. So, I think that it'll be interesting to see what happens when the market opens. I can tell you personally, the day that happens and that we can get our hands on Cuban tobacco, which a lot of people won't be able to, because that's basically what Cuba's prime resource is. It'll be interesting for us to be able to blend with tobaccos that we use now. So you can imagine a version of Syrah Esteli with Cuban tobacco in it, or a Syrah Black with Cuban tobacco in it, blended with all Nicaraguan. That's a whole fun thing to do. I don't want to speculate so much on Cuba. I mean, I think it'll be interesting. If you have smoked Cuban cigars and you think they're one thing, they're not going to be what you think they are. So, I mean, my thing is we have factories in Dominican, Honduras, Nicaragua, and, I think we make amazing cigars. Cuban tobacco is phenomenal, but I don't see, until we can get our hands in there and really kind of cultivate, get into the farms, which I don't think the Cubans will allow us to do, or get Cuban tobacco, which I'm sure they're not going to give us the best tobacco to use, that it will not be what we could fully actualize and the full potential of what Cuban tobacco should be. So, I mean, I hope that answers your question. Again, I mean, my mentality is this. We make great cigars. I have a game plan of what I want to go do. That's another ingredient that we get to play with, and that's what excites me more than anything. Everybody looks at Cuba as this mysterious place, and because you can't have it, and that's fine. But we're making great cigars in our company, and that's what I'm concerned about, and that's all I want to do. So if we can add another ingredient in, great.
All right, so
I hope that answers your question.
Another question from Society member Will.
Hey, Will.
And then we have a follow-up from somebody else that actually ties into this. So
okay.
Will asks,
how are we getting these questions? Like, you're like, this is like a ticker tape, right?
So yeah, we have questions coming in. They're pouring in on Twitter.
Wow. Thank you, everybody.
We've had questions coming in ever since we announced that we were going to do this. So
fantastic.
So Will asks, any plans for the Serie R Lancero?
And why? So, Will, I know you like Lanceros, and but Serie R means Serie Robusto, and Robusto to us is basically larger ring gauges. So Lancero basically 38 ring gauge, and it's usually a very long cigar. You get a lot of wrapper out of that, but the whole idea behind the Serie R line is everything are big, beefy ring gauges. And for me, what's exciting is to be able to pack in these tobaccos. But the real art of that is trying to pack and get flavor, because a Lancero is easy to do. You get a lot of wrapper taste off of that to fill it. So to the art of really making a cigar like this is 64. This is 6.25 by 64. To have a roller make this cigar and actually put flavor into it that you can taste something really unique is really hard to do, and it costs us a lot of money to put a lot of this tobacco in. Where Lanceros, it's not a lot of tobacco. You do need a bigger wrapper, but you can kind of cheat at that point. I like Lanceros personally. It's not a big market seller. I don't see us doing that in the Serie R line. In the La Gloria Cubana white box line, we have Robito de Cachino, which is basically a Lancero, and you get 3 Lanceros for $15. So try that. It's an amazing blend, and that might satisfy you well.
So with all these questions coming in from the Gloria Society, Joe Cecilio wants to know,
hey, Joe,
how can I become a member of the society?
Being a member, we have an application form on our website, and there's a lot of great guys in it right now. You got to apply, Joe. And listen, the guys that have been in there, like Ryan Wellner that just spoke and that sent us a McFall, who sent us a question. This is how extreme these guys. They actually tattooed the and I'm not going to do that. Robert also is a great guy.
It doesn't hurt though.
It doesn't hurt. Yeah, just like when Doc said, I dress very well. He gets it, right? So the cool thing about that is, hello, ladies. So, hi, how are you? Thanks for coming. So part of that is, just apply. I'm sorry, we have some wonderful ladies. Hey, come on in here. Yeah, come in. Come see yourself on camera. All right,
I don't want to see.
No, you got to see. You got to say hello because everybody's looking to see who I'm saying hello to.
Oh.
Sarah, you got to come around this way. Come around right this way. Just come in. We're saying hello to everybody. Just come in here. All right, guys. The great anticipation of who's saying hello. You got to come in now. Looking to see who it is. Come right here.
It's just like
here
700 million people watching. It's fine. It's fine.
There you go. Hi, Sarah. Say hello.
Hi.
You better look right there.
Hi.
Hi. So these are some of the beautiful people that come to Mona Cigar Lounge on a Thursday night. So, what is your name?
I'm Montoya.
Montoya. Wow. What a beautiful name. And this is Sarah. She actually works in our office and a wonderful one of our new additions. So, Sarah, thank you for coming out. We have really cool cigars if you guys want some. So, say hello to everybody out there. They're all from around the United States. Aren't these two ladies beautiful?
Hi, everyone.
So if you want to get a hold of Montoya, I'll have to talk to her later. Thank you so much for coming.
Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. If you guys want some cigars, we have them right here, and we'll help you out. All right? Thank you for coming.
Appreciate it. Ariel says hi.
Oh, cool. She coming?
She's sick.
Oh, okay.
Like really sick.
I'm sorry. Well, cool. Thanks for coming. Sorry, guys. This is a live feed, so when involved, we always got to put them on camera. So I hope you enjoyed that.
So
what was the question again?
How do you become a member of the society?
So our website, lagloriacigars.com. Sign out the application. Tell us why you want to be a member. Talk to the other guys, Ryan Welner, Will McFall, Doc. There's a bunch of other guys out there that are part of this. We have a gentleman in Chicago. Reach out to these guys on Facebook. They'll kind of tell you the inside scoop. I mean, what I've tried to do with this society is really get a really cool band of guys together around the country. And really, I want to network with cigar smokers around the country. So what happens if you're going to New York and you email the guy or text him and say, hey man, I'm going to be in New York, you want to hook up? This is what the cigar industry is about for me. It's about, I've got friends all around the United States, manufacturers, guys just like you that I've become friendly with. I'm just like you guys. We have the true passion of cigars, and it's a cool thing to kind of have this really cool network.
Yeah, and if you actually do follow Ryan Wellner on Twitter and Will, you'll see some of the benefits of being on the inside. So what do you think about giving away a box?
I think we should give away a box. What are we going to give away?
We just got.
So, let's show that, Steve. Let's show the. So let me show you something here that it's kind of like the Cuban question. So what this is.
There she is.
And what's cool about this is.
She said she loves the lady.
These boxes break apart. And so the question about Cuba, so you can kind of see this. And then the third box as well. So there's 3 boxes and they all snap back together. So what this is tres puros. It's 3 puros. And puro again is tobacco all from the same country. So this is Dominican, all tobaccos, all Honduran tobaccos from a Honduran factory, and all Nicaraguan tobaccos from all our Nicaraguan factories. So, the cool thing about this for me is that this is what we get to do. A lot of fun. So, do we want to give this away right now, or do we want to just tease everybody? What do you think, Greg? Like, you're a cigar guy, and so would you want to like an instant reward, or do we want to just wait? Maybe
this one's pretty special. Special, but this one,
All right, so it's
brand
Greg's
new.
fault that we're not going to give this away right now. But this is actually in the market right now, and I want to give one of the first boxes off, give away. So blame Greg if we're not giving it away right now, because I don't want to be a bad guy. And
I do want to give away something.
All right, so
if
let's
that's
give
all right
away
with you.
something. Let's give away. What are we giving away, Steve? What the hell? What did you got?
Let's go with
do you got there, bro?
a box of something.
Let's get a box of. Let's do another box of black.
All right, so
So here's another box of Syriar Black. Here's the thing I didn't show you about the box. This is a really cool design that we actually have had in our factory. To me, the box just slides off, and then you've got this beautiful ribbon in here that actually, when the rollers are rolling cigars, they put it in this really cool canvas. So literally, when you put, it's a wheel of 50 cigars, but this is a wheel of 24, and so it's very authentic to what you would see in the factory floor. So how are we giving this box away?
So
are you guys excited that I'm giving this away?
We actually just got a tweet in from one of our biggest fans.
Okay.
At a barista on duty, who big fan of yours and of the Gloria, and they write, "We love your posts. Thanks for your loyal support." All they want, I think, what they would want is a signed box.
Okay.
Of one of their favorites.
So we are set.
Barista on duty.
Barista on duty.
Loyalty is rewarded.
Thank you so much. That's for you guys. Thank you so much for. Thank you, Steve. All right, let's keep rolling with the questions. What do you think?
All right, let's do it. All right, so this one comes in from Gabe Carrillo.
Hey, Gabe.
And he asks a little something more broad, just about the industry in general. How well did the tobacco grow this year?
So, that's a great question. Honestly, I have not really paid attention. Around the world. Part of our meeting in this past week in Miami, I was talking to our tobacco grower. I don't ever worry about how the crop grows. What I was more interested about was the newer tobaccos that these guys have found, and they work with the growers, and we have a symbiotic relationship with them where we actually go in and help them, grow to our specs and give them some guidance on, some of the better techniques that they can use. So my focus truly was about newer tobaccos that will be ready this year and then next year. And I can't really speak about what they are, but I got to taste some of them and they were amazing. So you will see in the next year some wrappers, and basically there were 9 different wrappers that we got to try, and stuff that I had never heard of. But we got the first fermentation, which is basically coming out of the barn, and it's just fermented very quickly. And you can see the potential of that, and the flavor was really, really good. So to me, that was what I was more concerned about. I mean, what we use on Nicaraguan tobaccos, I kind of know that there's not issues with it, so I don't ask about that. They generally tell me when we have something in production if there's an issue, but that's what I've been really interested in right now. So what I'm seeing is absolutely freaking amazing.
So another one, we have a lot of big fans, obviously.
Thank you.
One of the Tommy Metzger.
Hey, Tommy.
So his is more of a request.
Yes.
And Tommy says, Michael, will you make me your apprentice?
This is like what, by Donald Trump now?
Yeah.
Tommy, I would love to. I mean, you live in Tennessee and I live in Richmond, Virginia, and I'm trying to figure out a way how we can do this. I would love to help you with that. So we got to meet somewhere, and then, be careful what you ask for. Tommy, I would love to. And actually, I owe you something, so hang on, because I owe you something, and it's going to be taken care of.
All right, so a specific question just about cigar care, how people should treat their
you're
cigars.
good at this, Greg, by the way.
I'm
this is
not. I've blacked out this entire time. You'll have to tell me later what I did. I don't know.
No, you're doing very well.
Yeah. So Robin Maiolo, see in there, I just lost
you
it.
can't pronounce it, Tony?
Mayo?
Where, let me see. All right, yeah.
Right,
so, Robin,
all of the above.
Go ahead.
The question is, put the cigar in the cellophane or remove it prior to placing it into the humidor?
So, what a great question, and it's a question that's always asked. So, a couple things. One, what kind of humidor do you have? If it's a decent humidor, make sure you season it really well. Here's what I suggest you do. I think if you buy a box of cigars, take half of them out of the cello, put them in the humidor, and take the other half and put them in the humidor with cello. After a month or so, smoke one with uncellowed, one with cello, and see which one you like better. Traditionally, for me, what a humidor does, all it does is really keep the alive, so to speak, in this form, and it adds moisture to it, and the tobacco will either leach moisture from the humidor or add to it. So it specifically doesn't age the cigar that much, but it's really about how do you like your red wine, right? So I've red wine where they like it chilled, and some red wines you chill, and some red wines you just leave out at room temperature, and it's really your personal preference. So for me to tell you that it's either or, you need to find out the way that you like to enjoy that cigar. So that's a really quick, interesting test to try, and then see what you do. If you're buying a box and you've got a box humidor, always leave them in the box. They actually age better there with the cello, and there you go.
Another question that just came in off Twitter. This is from Mike Harden, and he asked, what are the plans for Trunk Show this year?
So the plans for Trunk Show are, am I allowed to say this? You'll be surprised what I do with this. It'll be a collection. And that's about as much as I can tell you. But what I'm having fun right now is designing the box that they'll come in. The cool thing about Trunk Show for me is the smokable bands. So we did one with a stamp band, and we also did a cutout band. It was an idea I had, a bunch of years ago, and it took me over a year to figure out how to actually stamp the La Gloria silhouette out of tobacco, and literally had to get one of my friends in town here. I said to him one day, hey man, this is what I want to do. I want to stamp out the silhouette of a Gloria lady on a piece of tobacco. And it was harder than we thought, because when you actually use this machine, it actually had to cut precisely the silhouette without all that. And so we had this machine. It cost me a ton of money. So this was so special. I only want to put it on the Trunk Show series. So that's where the cutout band, the smokable band, the other band, the stamp band, is actually a piece of tobacco that's stamped with a biodegradable food-grade safety type of band. And so what's neat about that stampable band is when you smoke it, you actually see the Lady La Gloria in the stamped ink through the ash if you smoke it all.
Yeah, if you haven't tried that, it's a pretty cool thing to kind of see as you're already enjoyable enough to smoke them, and then you get a little piece of art at the end.
And it's fun, and it makes great pictures. So I know you've taken a lot for me. So So you'll see something very unique and special for the Trunk Show this year. It is coming back out, so if you've enjoyed years worth of it, you'll really enjoy what's going out this year.
So
Thank you, Mark.
I think this is a great question because you're always looking ahead, see what's next. And Julius Villa asks, what has been the biggest impact to the cigar industry in the last year?
Wow. Well, the biggest impact, I think, is really all the legislative stuff that's coming down. We have the on us that's trying to shut down our rights, and they're really trying to control the whole smoking industry, specifically cigars. Our company's been heavily involved. We feel that something's going to happen, and it's probably not going to be the greatest thing, but you know what? There's adversities in life, and I think what I love about cigar smokers is that we are mavericks, and no matter what we're told that we can't do, we're going to do anyway. So, it's whatever comes, and it doesn't upset me or it doesn't put me down. I just like, hey, it's another obstacle in life. You just got to get past it. And the thing about cigars, they're always going to be around. They've been around for over 500 years, and they're going to be around long past I'm gone, and hopefully I'm going to be around for a long time. So that's the biggest impact is legislative stuff, and then Cuba, of course. I mean, Cuba's coming up, and that's a great opportunity for all of us. So you got one bad thing and one possibly really good thing, and it is what it is. I don't really worry about stuff like that because I've been smoking for literally over more than 34 years. So I've seen the ups and downs. When I got in this business, I mean, I was a 21-year-old cat smoking cigars where the guys were 30 years older than me, and they were laughing at me like I'm a young George Burns. And here I am, and it became really a hot thing. And people are, so it is what it is.
So, kind of get back to the Esteli you're smoking right now, actually. Jonathan Abalon asks, why did you decide to venture into Esteli?
So, venturing into Esteli, we had a factory there, and La Gloria Cubana, basically Serie Art, is basically a combination of Dominican and Sumatra or broadleaf wrappers. And I really wanted to update the blend in Nicaragua. I've always loved tobacco, but I wanted to do something very, very unique, and so I thought it was time after about 9 years to upgrade the brand. Also, the pricing on our end had gotten a little out of control, and we had to take price increases, basically because tobacco prices go up every year. So I wanted to go to Nicaragua. I really wanted to get a price point in my mind and do some bigger ring gauges, and then really just do a Nicaraguan puro with that. And it took me literally 2 years to get there, but the end result, I'm really happy out with, and that was kind of the mentality. You see an opportunity, you see things that you can use. Again, I had all the fillers and the binders set. I just never had the Nicaraguan wrapper. And until we had that Nicaraguan wrapper, what ended up happening was the filler and binders had to be reblended because they weren't matching the wrapper so well. And using a new ingredient, we had to figure out how to blend with that. So that was an even more fun project to do. But it also, you start tearing your hair out a little bit. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And that's where you get a lot of fun, is actually mixing with that. So
cool. And sticking with Lady La Gloria here, Jake Payne asks, where did Lady La Gloria come from? Was there an inspiration for her, or is she based on a real woman?
So Lady La Gloria, I mean, that's a great question. I would say about 10 years ago, I spent an entire summer trying to figure out, the lady on the cigar band. What I ended up finding out, and you guys but if you look at a regular La Gloria white box, that is from the Art Deco period. And this band, Vista with the Lady and Cherubs ascending into the heavens, was really from the Victorian era. The lady on the band is actually from the 1920s, the Art Deco era. So my question to myself was, and I asked the industry, who put in a Victorian art and a Art Deco art, because that came second in the 1920s on this band, and literally what you see her holding in her hand is not a cigar, but actually a cigarette with matches. And I guess back in the day with these guys, somebody, and it was probably the Rocha family that actually had the brand in the 20s, they probably figured, got artwork from this lady, and here's a really cool artwork from a cigarette thing, and I'm going to put that on this cigar band, and I got lady, even though they don't look the same. That's what's kind of compelling and interesting about the cigar industry. You've got two mixed arts put on a cigar band, most iconic brands in the industry. So for me, Lady La Gloria is so beautiful that I really wanted to bring her off the band much more. the vista with the lady in sharp descending into the heavens is really an allegory of, when you smoke a La Gloria, it brings you into a place of heaven. And that's basically what the Cubans are so great at, is the romance of that. And I love that. So what I've tried to do is bring out the Lady La Gloria even more prominently and trying to modernize her in a way that's kind of cool, but still very iconic.
Great. So,
Or what?
yeah, that's
Okay.
what I'm cutting. I'm trying to do this inconspicuous. I'm trying to be a pro.
You are a pro, bro.
So, Paul Town, obviously, you have a chef background. You really enjoy the, food, or used to.
Yeah, I
still
still
enjoy
do,
it.
yes.
You just don't let the
I don't
rest
even-
of your body enjoy it. Yeah. So, Paul Thomas asks, what are some of your favorite restaurants, and what's your LGC of choice after each style of meal?
Wow. So like specifically restaurants, because none of us are going to get paid for that. So I'll tell you my great meals. How about that? New York City, I've never had a bad meal, and in Napa, California, I've had some really cool heritage kind of fruits and foods. And Chicago, I've had great food. Miami, I've had Dominican Republic food. Honduras, Nicaragua. I guess the key ingredient is that what I appreciate so much about chefs is that the way that they can put components together and that the ingredients are very, very fresh. And then based off of what I eat, it all depends on my mood. So, if throughout my day, I've got a monster humidor in our office, and I can kind of pick and choose whatever I want. So, I smoke a lot of Esteli in black. I smoke a lot of white box. I smoke like Artisano Zabalesco, which is the short little homage to the monument in the Dominican Republic, the heroes of the Restoration. I mean, it really depends on my mood, but I have, for me, it's all about different taste profiles, and also how much do I want to smoke. So, if you're in New York City and it's cold like this around the country, smoking, an Esteli 6 1/4 by 64 because I'm going to freeze my butt off. So, you kind of have that opportunity. I'm lucky that I get to smoke a lot of cigars pretty much everywhere I go.
So we got another question in from Will.
Will?
Fresh off the presses on Twitter.
Okay.
He asks, any plans on finding a match for the lady? Perhaps a bachelor series.
You know what? I look at this as there is guys are guys, and there's nobody good enough for my lady. No, that's a great question. I mean, I wanted to do what I did last year was I thought that Lady La Gloria would have a twin, and she would be the rival twin. And the cool idea there was that I could actually extend my classy lady into her having a twin that nobody knew about. And the idea was that she was a little bit more of the fun size, where Lady La Gloria is a little. They both love each other, but it was a battle between the two ladies. So she was always dressed in black and white, and the Lady La Gloria was always very colorful in the yellows and the reds. And I thought that was a fun battle. I've not thought of a Mr. La Gloria, but interesting. Kind of like ladies, so I'm going to kind of stick with that theme.
So you may not know this. Michael was kind enough to let us hang out today in his office for a little bit.
Yes.
While you were hard at work, we actually fleeced.
You absconded one of my cutters,
which we thought was pretty
Wow.
cool.
So when did you do this?
This was. Don't worry about it.
Right,
in case
so
we
I'm not
strike
supposed to worry
again.
about this, but check this out. This is an old cutter that I've had. And I don't know if you can see the logo on it, but what this is well, I can't believe you took this from my office. But
I hope we're still friends.
no, of course we are. So this is a punch cutter that actually slips down, and then you've also got the guillotine cutter. So it's a 2-in-1 cutter, and it's logoed with the CRR logos. So I guess we're giving this away since you brought this out, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, Craig. So
Who do you think?
I don't know. Let's
mean-
pick somebody.
I mean, Will's an awfully loyal man.
Will, so I don't want this just to be about the guys that are loyal to us. Will, you get this. But let's pick somebody as we go along. So, Steve, we're going to have you randomly just kind of do like pin the tail on the donkey in the next gift.
All
But
right.
Will, this is yours, brother. Congratulations.
All right. You want to keep going on the questions?
Yeah, let's
you want
keep
to talk
going on the
about other
questions.
stuff? All righty. Okay. So, our next question.
Are you guys okay out there? I mean, hit us some, if there's anything specifically you want to hear. So, at LaGloriaCigars.com.
Yeah,
It is on Twitter.
Yeah, on Twitter at La Gloria Cigars or La Gloria Cubana. Yeah. So Jason Haney asks, "What's your favorite La Gloria, and also your favorite drink alongside?"
That's asking me. It's hard to have a favorite. My favorites are basically what I'm working on now. I always go back to the stuff that we work on. But again, just like the restaurant thing, I have so many choices. Really what my mood is and what I've eaten for that day and what I'm really craving. So I'm lucky that I get that opportunity to go through all my La Gloria Cubana. I like the big ring gauges. I've gone to some smaller cigars now. Like I said, the Avalesco is one of my favorites, a little powerhouse of a firecracker of a cigar. So, I love Cuban coffee. I love coffee in the morning, and so I literally smoke one of these little guys, and it's like literally having a steak in the morning because it just wakes you up and you're ready to go.
Cool. And now Doug Fauzi asks, "What's the most
Wait, say that again?"
See, I tried to skip over it so you wouldn't ask me. Sorry, Doug. Doug Fantauzi.
Okay.
I think you elongate
That's
the
an
last
Italian
name.
guy, I
Yeah.
think.
So, what's the most important quality to look for when selecting a cigar?
It's the ingredients. It's the fillers, the binders, and the wrappers. And the most important part, like a great dish. If you don't have great ingredients, you're not going to make a great meal. And with us, it's always, we're always tasting fumas, and fuma is basically taking tobacco and making like a little small cigar. Is the characteristics of, the aroma, the bouquet. But what you're tasting is 5 things you can taste: sweet, sour, salt, bitter, and umami. And umami is meat flavors, and that's really all you can taste. So where does that hit you on your tongue? What are you getting? Are you getting aroma, the bouquet, the strength, the flavor from it? And then you kind of register that in your brain. And that starts the beginning of how you want to start putting a blend together. So always looking for that first. Wrappers, of course, are most important. I like really dark, woolly wrappers, not say, but something that just got some thickness to it that you can ferment as much as you want and really get that tobacco flavor out of that. And so that's kind of the fun part for me. So always great ingredients. Wrappers always got to be pristine and clean and dark and oily and stuff, and then everything's got to work together.
All right, so we got a question that actually, if you're ready,
I'm ready
to maybe give out the Tres Poros.
We're giving that away now?
Well, we have a question that it's fate coming together, and
all right, so you're now going to say that we should give this away. All right, so
apparently I'm calling the shots just
all right,
on
so
that.
You're calling
though,
the
just
shots.
on
All right,
that.
so let's show this again before we ask the question.
Right.
All right, so this question is going to. We just got this in, I think, right?
Yeah, we just got this.
So
in.
this is what you're going to win with this question. This is the Tres Poros. Okay, thank you, Steve.
All right, Chris Ramirez. Thanks for the question.
Hey,
just
Chris.
came in. What cigar are you bringing out this year?
Tres Poros.
There you go. See it.
There you go.
It fits perfectly.
So what else am I bringing out? I'm not allowed to talk about it. My plan this year is really to support Esteli in Black and Tres Poros. We have another guest appearance here. Come on in here, Megan. Sorry, Chris. Come around this way, Megan. So let me introduce you to Megan Jenkins. Hi, Megan. Say hello to everybody. You got to get your face in here, Megan. Look at that. Hi, Megan. Megan, tell everybody what you do.
I am Michael's graphic.
So Megan, actually, I get to work with Megan, and so Megan and I, we drive each other nuts. I'll have an idea, she'll tweak it, but she's an amazing. Where you going, Megan? She ran away. So, wow. So Megan is one of my graphic designers, and we work on projects together, and I'm really happy that you showed up here. So, again, just me. I have ideas. I work with a bunch of talented people, not only in my office of graphic designers and great friends like Greg and Steve that you met, but also work with great blenders in the factories. And so this is a team effort, and that's what I'm so honored. Megan, I just gave you a ton of kudos, and you walked away. So
I'm sorry.
that's okay. So Megan, thank you for.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, all right. Thank you. So, Chris, you won this today's Poros, so I'm going to autograph this to you. Greg, is that okay if I give this to Chris?
I think I'll allow that.
All
yeah.
right. Okay.
That's the only power I have here tonight.
All right, I don't want to really mess up this box, so. Way, Chris, this is literally one of the first boxes that I was going to keep for myself, but I didn't want to do that tonight, so this is for you, my friend. Autograph to you. This will, hopefully the winter breaks and you'll get to enjoy some of these in the warm weather nights. Or keep you warm during the cold nights.
So we just got a couple more questions in.
Okay.
From Jeff Ketchum. What is your next biggest passion after cigars?
So Jeff, I have actually 6 passions in my life. Cigars number 1, food, clothes, jewelry, cars, and ladies. I'm a single guy, but I don't have a lot of time for the last one, unfortunately. But you know why I like all these things, and it. I love, because I'm in the cigar industry, I love stuff that's made by hand, and I'm a geek about all the things I mentioned, so it kind of makes sense for me to be in the cigar industry, even though I never really realized it. To a friend of mine finally said to me a bunch of years ago, dude, that's why you're in the cigar industry. You love stuff that's handmade. You really appreciate the art of that. And to me, it's really about that old school art that when I was a kid and I would go to a shoemaker, I was fascinated by him, the way he would resole the shoe, and I would literally watch him for hours because I thought it was absolutely fascinating what you can do with your hands. Same thing with watches. I mean, I'm a watch freak, and I've been since I was a kid, but I could never afford them until many, many years later, and I love the fine art of, you know, you just can't take a watch and just bang it out. I mean, it takes time, it takes skill, it takes years of experience, and then when you get this beautiful piece on your wrist, it's just beautiful. And the same thing with jewelry. I love jewelry, one, because I'm Italian, but two, I really like that it's just pretty and shiny, and that things take forever to make, and you just can't, you know, go to a store and buy it. I mean, it's the appreciation of the art, and that's truly what my passion is. I really appreciate talented people that are able to do stuff with their hands. So, be it looking at a house or a beautiful, you know, a woodwork or making a beautiful box, I'm fascinated by this old house and shows on PBS where these guys actually make stuff. There's a great show on PBS. A guy, I forget the guy's name, but he actually makes stuff out of old Victorian tools, and so he'll make like dovetails out of it, but he'll use ancient, you know, techniques to do that. And it shocks me that, dude, you could do this on a machine, but the time that it takes, appreciation of the craft, that this is how it started, and this is the actual piece that it's handmade.
So Mike Bracella asks,
dude, you're having a tough time with either, you know, anything with a
I
vowel.
did all right on that. Bracella.
Okay. I don't know if Mike thinks that, but okay.
Mike hates me now. Sorry, Mike. Well, so obviously cigars are kind of synonymous with celebrations, bringing people together. He asked, which La Gloria is best for a crowd?
I would say La Gloria Cubana Huevos, because, you know, it's a 5 by 50. It's a nice little smoke. What drives me nuts, and I know you guys out there are having the same experience, you buy a really great box of cigars, you're having a party, people come over, they light up the cigar you spent, you know, $6-7 on, they smoke a quarter of an inch of it, and then they drop it. There's not an appreciation for it. So if you want something that's got a lot of full flavor, and it's a 5.5, 5 by 50, and it's a La Gloria Huevo, it's basically a big Robusto, you know, you're not going to lose a lot of it. They're going to get a lot of flavor, and hopefully they will enjoy that cigar.
So one more question right off of Twitter here, and it may transition us into our second half of this.
Really, we
this
have
lightning.
a second half. So the second half piece here is we wanted to have some fun tonight, and I don't know if you see stuff behind me, but that's going to change, and then something going to change as well. So,
Yes.
Greg, why don't you put your head out? Oh,
So
okay.
people can see the.
Yeah, but what's
the
back
blank
there right
board.
now is just a blank board. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So the question.
So this is the last question. We have something else we want to give away for La Gloria.
Yeah.
Because I see something that was in my office as well, and since this is the last question, I don't know how that ended up here, but I thought that now I kind of know why it's here.
It's just kind of your fault that you have cool stuff in your office, so it's not totally mine.
This is why we're buddies, and what's mine is yours.
Really?
And now it's yours.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Okay. All right.
Not everything.
So one other thing we sort of heisted.
All right, so before we ask the question, so this is an interesting little Gloria Cubana wall hanging.
And I'd actually use it for my decanter set, which personally,
So it's
you can use anything.
yeah,
You can
pretty
use
much.
anything.
It's basically laser engraved into this really cool serving tray. So you can either hang this up in your man cave, or you could use it like Greg does, you know, putting glasses on it, really nice, expensive glass. So this is going to go to somebody. So what's the question?
So
Who
this-
is it?
this
And
is
who
from,
won this?
Sean Tucker.
Sean,
Got that one.
congratulations.
I got that one right.
Yes, you
Sean
did.
Tucker.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
good.
an easy one.
Yeah. What do you think the next big thing in cigars will be?
You will see this year with second half stuff I'm talking about. You know, in general, what you're going to see with cigars is you're going to see, you know, my company, General Cigar Company, basically bringing out some really interesting proprietary tobaccos, and I will touch on that on the second half of what I've done with a project called MAO, M-A-O, in the Dominican Republic, and it's a really interesting thing. So what a great question, Sean, because I will answer that in the second half.
Great.
How's that? So I will autograph this to you, and then our plan is what, Greg?
Well, I figure we'll take a little bit of a very short break so we can see the other side of Michael Giannini and see what you have in store for us then.
So, do we want to tell everybody what we're doing? Sean, this is for you. Congratulations. So what we're going to do in the second half, should we tell everybody? We're going to talk about my other brand, Foundry, and we've got a lot of stuff to give away there and a lot of cool stuff to talk about. So I am going to take a really quick break. I'm going to go do something, so as quickly as I can do it, I'll be right back. And please don't leave. And segment 1, we'll be back.
because I've got it here, I can probably box it.
Gotcha. So I'll make sure I send it to you. Just send it later.
He's getting ready for his eat.
You're on, brother.
I'm back. So I have changed, and the idea is, if you look behind me, this is Foundry Tobacco Company world, so to speak. So, my inspiration was the old Seinfeld where Kramer actually bought the old Merv Griffin set. So we're going to have a little bit more fun today. I wanted to change because I really wanted to make this a little bit dramatic, but also it's funny. When I first founded Foundry Tobacco Company 3 years ago, I had a retailer say to me, "You know who you are, bro? You're Bruce Wayne with Gloria, Cubana, and at night you turn into Batman." It was a real honor to hear that. I'm a superhero nut, so I wanted to kind of get my whole inspiration here. So the first thing I'm going to light up is compounds, elements, and musings called dubnium. And if I could get, Greg, if you could get me to box top the dubnium, I want to kind of show people what this is. So what you see here is actually these grinning teeth, and I want to show you the box top to this. And that is, to me, what I've been called my entire life, the cat that ate the canary. So that's kind of me in my little bit more mischievous side. And the idea behind this was, the element on this is DB, and the element is dubnium, and okay, so dubnium means, I have no idea what it means, but my whole inspiration behind compounds, elements, and musings was, as I mentioned earlier, I wanted to get a PhD in psychology, and the one trauma I had a couple of years ago was I could never understand the periodic table. I could kind of get the letters and what they meant, but atomic weights and all that fun stuff, and all the elements I had to memorize, it's the only thing that I was academically a failure at. So I figured, I woke up one day and I'm like, you know what, if you can't win at the game, create your own. So I created my own periodic table. So dubnium to me is DB, and if you think about this, we all have friends in our life, and Greg is a perfect example. I love him to death, but every once in a while he's a pain in my butt, and so when I give him this cigar, and he didn't notice until I finally told him, it's really offended by this, but you hear this word on TV, douchebag. And it's an endearing way to say, bro, I love you, but stop talking right now because you're digging a hole in. So, Greg, this is not named after you, but I out there, and that's kind of where this is. So it's my whimsical side of kind of getting there. The cool thing about this is Compounds, Elements, and Musings for me is more about a way to bring to life some unique and typical tobaccos in there. So it's my take on what a Dominican and Nicaraguan taste is, but I always throw something a little bit different in. Kind of say that, hey man, I don't like this specific style of cigar, but for me it's about, yeah, but you don't know what I put in there. So if you think it's going to be this, it's not going to be that. And the reason I learned that is I would ask my guys in my factory, hey man, I want to put a blend together, and I'd give them a recipe, and I would get the recipe, and they're like, okay, here's blend number 1, and I'd smoke it, and I'm like, I wouldn't even smoke it. I would say to them, yeah, I know what that's going to taste like. And they're like, dude, how do you know we didn't change on that? And that's when it struck me. I let you guys do this work and put this blend together for me, and now I'm not going to smoke it. You know what? I'm sorry. I apologize. And so that's kind of what I've done. That's my real life experience. So I'm going to light this up. It's a very whimsical, fun thing, but I love telling stories, and that's where we're at with that. So I want to talk about Foundry and the whole line. And if you could hand me one of those sheets, Greg, you got off camera. Wait, are you done? Are you
waiting for you to summon?
Oh, okay. Could you hand me one of those brochures? And so I want to kind of take you guys, and you kind of see this behind me right here. This is Foundry Tobacco Company, and the idea is that I wanted to take you guys on a 200-year journey, starting with this man right here, Leonardo da Vinci, who is one of the true geniuses on the planet. But I actually steampunk. And what I've done is I started every 50 years, I started to tell the story of the great innovators. So Foundry 1.0 actually had the gear, 20, if you guys could see that, 1800s. Then we went to 1914, which is War of the Currents, Tesla versus Edison. And then I did a whole series this year of 1964, 2014, and 2064. What I ended up doing was I wanted to tell a 50-year story, my journey of Foundry. And I ended up in 2064, which is where I want to grow tobacco on Mars 50 years from now. So what I learned from Da Vinci was he inspired everybody down this path. And my ideas and my craft and what I love to do is that I can inspire somebody to look forward and create stuff. So way back from that period of time, the 1500s, to the 1800s, to 1914, to 1964, to 2014. My job now is to look forward 50 years and what I think the cigar industry is going to be. And to me, if Da Vinci jumped in a time machine and actually landed here right now, I could say to him, hey Leonardo, man, I'm not even close to what you've done, but I'm looking forward. And my hope is that some young guy or gal will get in the industry a bunch of years from now and look at what I've done, like people look at Da Vinci and say, you know what, we are going to Mars. Today is the Lunar New Year, and it's not by accident that we planned this day. Today also, if you guys look, if you've seen it on TV, people have paid a one-way trip, then they have kids and stuff to go to Mars. It's going to take them 18 months. I don't know what you guys are going to do there when you get there, but the reality is we are going to be on Mars shortly. And maybe not in our lifetime, but people ahead of us are going to see that. So I'm just trying to push the cigar industry forward with my whole concept here. The cool thing about all this is, what I got to do with the blends was I got to tap into some small batch tobaccos that have been sitting there for years that we never cigar, and I ran into one by accident because I asked my guys, hey man, I want to come up with something very unique with this idea, and I want to use tobaccos that's never been used. I didn't want to use Dominican, Nicaraguan, Honduran, Mexican, usual suspects. What do we have that never been used? And when I ran into this stuff, my tobacco guy that was at our warehouse said, man, look at the baler tags. And the baler tags basically tell you the type of tobacco, which I've never recognized, but the dates and the years and how much of that stuff was there blew me away. So we basically just put the blends together. What's so cool about that for me, again, as being a chef, is that when you get new ingredients and you have no idea what you're doing with them, the thing was, we didn't taste any of this. We used our eyes, our feel, and our smell only, and we put a blend together. And I really wanted to see how good we were. And if we could do that, then if we had a blend, we had a blend. If we didn't, we didn't. But what happens is when you smoke this, your brain has these type of tobaccos before, and it doesn't know how to register. And so when you smoke it, you have no idea what you're smoking. And that's what's so cool about that. So I'm going to bring in a really good friend of mine to come in and kind of mention this. This is my Sinatra partner in our office. Gus, would you come over here, please? Well, I'm introducing you, and you can just tell everybody what you do. I'm going to light up my Dubnium,
All right.
and you are drinking a glass of wine. And so tell everybody, bro, isn't he cute?
I don't know about cute, but it's great to be with you tonight. Gus Martinez, and I actually have the pleasure to work every single day with Michael Giannini. It's amazing to see every day what Mike is thinking about in terms of the brands and kind of the passion that he brings to everybody, and the excitement and really the surprise and the joy that we have doing what we do every single day. So, we always joke around, what we do isn't a job. It's really a passion and a love, and that really kind of exemplifies everything that we do. And again, appreciate all of you out there, and I hope you're having a great night.
So what do you do, though, bro?
So what do I do?
So, but before you answer that, it is an honor to work with you as well.
Thank you, Michael.
It's great to work with people that you respect. It's great to work with colleagues, but it's really better to work with people that have become really good friends. So it's an honor for me as well.
Same here, bud.
So, but tell everybody what you do.
Yes. So what I do every day, my role is director of brand marketing at General Cigar, and so I have an opportunity to touch all the brands within our portfolio. Everything from La Gloria to Cohiba to Macanudo. And I basically help set direction and provide vision for where we want to take a number of our and working everything from new product development to developing our advertising, consumer promotions, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. No, that's all.
That's it. That's all
It's a
I
lot
do.
of stuff. But for those of you that look at us as a big monster company, these are the people behind the company. Gus and I get to work every day together. We get to laugh together. We get to be serious about together. We get to joke. We're Godfather movie fans. And what's so hysterical about this is, Gus, I don't know who gave you this calendar, but every day it's 365 days of Godfather trivia. So he hits me with these questions every day, and Gus can recite line from line, and it's hysterical. And we have a blast every day. So in the middle of a serious meeting, he'll be, hey, what was Vito Corleone's age when he was in Godfather 2? And I was like, what are you just talking about? It's hysterical. So, Gus, you do a lot, and it's an honor to have you here. But really importantly, this is the family that we have, and you're here with your wife tonight.
I am.
And she won't come on camera, but I think you need to bring her over.
I think I do.
So you need to bring her, and so I won't ruin this part. Bring her over.
Hey, Laurie.
So this is what the cigar industry does. This is his beautiful wife. Introduce her.
Hi, this is my wife, Lori Martinez, and everybody out there. Today is my wife's birthday, and there's no other place that she'd rather be than right here with Michael and I. And so when I told her this morning, I said, hey, hon, I got something special for you. I said, we're going to go out to a beautiful dinner tonight, and then we're going to go over to Mona Lounge, and we're going to spend some time with Michael. And she goes, oh, so we're going to spend my birthday with your other family. So she's absolutely right. Michael is truly family. And coincidentally, both my wife and Michael are born and raised in Philadelphia. So Eagle fans forever.
Yeah. So Z-Man, you're outnumbered. Thank you so much. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I know everybody out there wishes you a happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Michael,
Gus.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Take care, bro.
Okay, so I told you we were full of surprises. So, Greg, you're going to jump in here, and you want to read some questions? Because
I think we should start giving away some
so,
stuff.
what I'd love to do, though, is to take everybody through the progression of stuff. So, if you guys have any questions about what I did, please ask me. Here's the thing about Foundry Tobacco Company. None of these tobaccos you will ever see, so I am literally running out of stuff. If you haven't seen this stuff in your retailer, please ask your retailer or one of our reps that you run into a shop and say, hey man, I need to carry some of this stuff. So I'm going to autograph a little Prince timeline. The reason I wanted to tell the Foundry Tobacco Company, I was really inspired by a lot of the great classic rock groups. If you look at concept albums like Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti, Emerson, if you look at David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust, and the Spiders from Mars, they actually tell a cool story. And what's unique to me, because I used to be a drummer as well when I was a kid, what's unique to me is when you hear that last note from that last cut on that album, and you sit back and you're like, whoa, man, that was like awe-inspiring. The idea of Dark Side of the Moon, to me, one of the classic albums, you know, there's not a lot of eyes that people see on the Dark Side of the Moon, and probably only 8 eyes I've ever seen. But the reality of it is that it's actually the Dark Side of the Moon is really, really dark. And so, you know, it's kind of interesting that you can't see that. But that whole concept of how creatively they put together that concept album, to me, is what I love to do in the cigar industry. Because to me, it's me, and that's what I get inspired by. And that's kind of what the question we asked earlier, what inspires you to create something? Well, it's an inspiration behind what I did with Foundry, and then actually that translates into tobacco, and it drives me to go look for stuff that nobody has, and then I get to bring this out into the marketplace. But Foundry, the line truly is limited, and you know, I'm happy about that you guys get to try it, but I'm also sad that we don't even have the seeds for that, and we'll never have it again. So, there we go. Questions?
All right.
That's a lot to... How we doing there?
Great. Start signing some boxes.
Let's sign some boxes.
Yeah,
So before we ask some questions, we said that we were going to give this away to anybody, so, you know, I know there's a lot of guys that support us, but go ahead.
Well, I'm just
All right,
scooting.
you know,
I'm
Greg
just
is the
scooting.
guy picking this. So, first thing I want to give away before I ask this question, this is going to go to this person. Here's one of the limited editions boxes that I did. So I did 500 boxes last year, and I kept a bunch of these. This is called the Particle Death Ray. This is one of Tesla's inventions. So I did the war occurrence, I did one for Edison, I did one for Tesla, but underneath that I did a whole bunch of inventions. And so this cigar literally looks like the Death Ray shape when you see it. I only have probably about 10 boxes of these left, and these tobaccos are gone. So I'm going to autograph this to somebody that I'm not going to know what the question is yet. So who wins this box?
Mike Harden.
Mike Harden. Mike. Mike, understand, there aren't many of these left on the planet, so that's to you, my friend. Okay, thank you, Steve. So, your question.
Mike Harden's question. He's heard a lot about all the time you put in, all the places you go, all the fans you meet, and his question's pretty simple. How the hell do you sleep?
What is sleep? You know what's fun is I'm honored that you guys are on here. I'm a big fan of you guys as well, because without you, I can't do what I do, and I can't keep my guys at my factory employed and the ladies there. So thank you so much. I don't sleep, and I look at the world that I've got a lot of stuff that I want to do before I move on to the next plane in my life. And you know, when you're inspired about stuff, I kind of always want to create. So sleep to me is just a way to get recuperated. You know, literally, I'm up 4 or 5 times a night thinking about stuff, and I can never turn the TV set off. So that's just my nature. I've lived with it, and there's, you know, it's pretty neat to be up at 3 in the morning and, like, you know, you're not going to fall asleep. Go downstairs and watch TV, and then next thing you know, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, and you're watching something that inspired you, and I'm typing all night, and I'm like, it's time to go to work, man. I can't wait to get this started. So thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you're enjoying it, and I want to keep doing that. So thank you.
So
Mike, you got a box, my friend. Next box. So
Next box.
let's do that, because we got a lot of stuff we want to give away.
All right.
So this is also under the invention. This is, everybody knows this one. This is also 500 boxes. I think I've only had 10 left of this. This is the Menlo. This is the phonograph that, you know, of course, everybody knows Thomas Edison invented. And it's a much small batch. The cigar looks like the bellow on the phonograph. So this goes to
Robert Gabriel.
Robert, congratulations. And Robert, I would say there's 10 cigars. The best thing to do is you share it with 10 great friends, or if you don't have any friends, don't share these with anybody, because these are never going to be seen again. Robert, I'm sure you have a ton of friends, but you got one in me now, so enjoy. The question.
The question is, how do you come up with the different blends and then decide which one is the one?
So, So let me just show you that first, Robert. That's yours. So for the Foundry series and Compounds, Elements, and Musings, I think what happens in the process for me is that with this I come up with the concept, and then once I get ingrained with it, it's not any dissimilar to what some musicians see when they hear music. They see colors, and for me, I kind of see like these boxes to me spoke to me in a way that I'm like, this blend would fit perfectly with that, and that's probably just in my mind that I think that works up really well with the Foundry Tobacco Company series. So these unique blends are so different and unique that my brain has not registered them. So I kind of associate that with the specific, the way it smokes, the way that I think that concept works, and it's really in my mind. So I hope you guys agree with that. I kind of spoke a little bit earlier about how we blend. So it's either the platform drives the process or it's the tobacco drives the process. And in this case, it's the platform, because the tobacco to me is I'm limited on what I have, and then I get to pick these different blends, and then I kind of associate it with that.
Great. So this one, Gloria Society member, Robert.
Hey, Robert.
We've heard from him already, but he's got a great question.
Yeah.
And I think it's a question a lot of people have actually wondered. And that is, what was your inspiration for the Foundry cigar and the Spectacular box? And also, how did you cultivate the Martian tobacco for that blend?
So, can we grab, Steve, do you mind grabbing those two boxes? So, the whole Foundry concept was based off the steampunk movement, the original series, and that is the one with the gear. And the idea behind that was that what I loved about it was the creativity of the artwork. And really quickly, what steampunk was for me was that the Victorian on the time machine, it came to our current day, and took all our technology, and you look at our iPhones and our iPads and all that stuff. Beautiful design, but not sexy. They're plastic and metal and glass. What would the Victorians do with that? They would actually deconstruct this, and so when you look at your laptop, they would actually take out all the keys, and what they would do is put all typewriter keys, and on your screen they would inlay brass and leather and all the beautiful materials that they had at the time. And what you end up with is a piece of functional art, but it's so beautiful that when somebody would walk into your office or see your laptop, dude, I need to get one of those. That's so beautiful. And that's what inspired me. So what inspired me was, I connected the dots in that I wanted to put together my own cigar brand and factory, and under my vision of what steampunk was, but in my craft of making cigars. So that's how that came to life. The whole idea with 2064, these are my two spaceships, Hellion and Hellion, and I spoke about earlier about the people that want to go to Mars and that want to take a one-way trip. So, if you see this made with Martian tobacco, I mean, that's kind of my whimsical take, if you guys can see. The thing about this is, even though people want to go to Mars, I had to produce my own spaceship so I because I got stuff to do. So what I created was a whole, I already picked my spot on Mars where I have a geodesic dome where we're going to grow tobacco, half robot, half human. And if you look right here, that's there. I don't know if we can see that. Greg, do you mind grabbing that? So this is the, it's actually going to tend my fields. And you can see his face. And what you have is he's got a box of Hallions there, and he's also got the 1964 cigar. So the idea was, again, I said this a little bit earlier, my idea is that I want to inspire somebody 20 years from now that gets into the cigar industry that we are going to be on Mars by 2024. I'm just looking 25 years past that in 2064, that's the new frontier. I want to move the cigar industry so forward that, to be able to grow tobacco on Mars, we're gonna have colonies there. We're gonna have, really cool technology on there. Why can't we grow tobacco? And somebody's gonna be inspired by that, and by that. So, is there truly Martian? I'm not gonna answer that. Think about it. So we're gonna give these away as well.
All right. So we've had a lot of questions coming in. You can submit your questions at Foundry Cigars.
You're good at this.
Yeah, just get some banana.
You are.
No, I'm not. I'm terrible.
So let me autograph one of these prints to somebody. Who's this going to?
All right, this one is going to Janice Clavins. Janice Clavin.
Yeah, but you know what? We need to get Janice too along with this. So Janice, not only are you going to get this timeline and all the brands of Foundry, but we're also going to give you, this is the unexpected. So this is my homage to 1964. And what you see here, and you'll see this done in a really cool comic strip style, is, hey honey, how was it on Mars? And I'll be back to dinner tonight. And so in 1964, if you think about our American history, it's a really seminal time. The Beatles came to America, the Mustang was created, Muhammad Ali came to prominence, and so to me, that was my inspiration about its foreshadowing to the future. So Janice, this is for you as well. When you open up this box, which I'm not going to right now, there's a really cool ring on there, and so, Janice, congratulations. All right, we got to get that out. There you go, Janice. Thank you, sir. All right, the question.
Can I give away?
All right, we're going to get something else.
Perfect.
Who's this going to?
So this is actually from Paul Cedillo,
Paul,
who is a Gloria Society member.
But you didn't ask Janice's question, or we're just going to give it away. Does she have a question?
Yeah, she had a question. What is the main source of inspiration for Foundry?
It is steampunk. It is the creativity of that nobody really judges your artwork, but it's my vision of what I think about the cigar industry and how I want to move the cigar industry forward. And I'm not disparaging what anybody else does, but my job as a young cat in this industry is to kind of look forward to, because people like Benji Menendez is one of my mentors, and he just retired last year. The gentleman's in his late 70s, a monster in the industry. Guys, generation after generation after generation, he's taught people forward, and now it's my time to pay back, and so I want to inspire young people that get in this industry to kind of think about forward, because all these great manufacturers held hands when they left Cuba, and they all helped each other, and so I see that as my time now to kind of do the same thing. So I want to inspire and stimulate and look at the world a little bit differently. The world's changing beneath us, and we're living in a time of history right now, and if you don't realize it, take a breath and look at what's going on in the world. We have watches now where you can actually talk into it, and think about 50 years ago when the Dick Tracy watch came out. People probably thought this person was out of his mind, and 50 years later, the person that ever thought of that, Samsung came out with it, and an iPhone came out with their own watch, and now you can talk into it. Like it or hate it, it's the technology. If you can't see it, it's never going to happen, and I'm just trying to inspire that.
Great.
So there you go.
All right.
So this is for you, Paul. You get the version. These are two of these, the wormhole, and there's one called worm and one called hole. And really what a wormhole is, and this is what kind of ties my whole Foundry series from Da Vinci to 2064, is a bridge in time and space where you don't age and you can through that. And it's an Einstein-Rosen theory. Don't want to get too technical, but that's the idea of the wormhole. So 2014, which is last year, started that. So that's for you. This is a completely different blend than what Janice got from the unexpected. Paul, congratulations.
So Paul didn't have a question. He had a comment, and Paul says that he knew you would have more wardrobe changes than at the Grammys.
Thank you, Paul. I really feel bad about that, but again, I wanted to make this fun, and that's kind of what we do in the cigar industry. If you can't have fun at what you're doing and enjoy it with people that you love, then go home and do something else.
So since we've been talking about 2064, we've had some questions come in, kind of about the future, what the future holds. And Chris Marshall asks, if aliens arrived to Earth, which Foundry cigar would you present them with?
I would give them the Hellion or the Hellion boxes. Those are my spaceships, and what I really thought about with these spaceships, and I had some really other configurations, but I thought I kind of picked this up, and you guys could kind of all see this, so I'll leave this out as a little project of where you think this came from, but it was a really cool thing of what I think these spaceships will look like based on the knowledge that I have now, and I'm just trying to project into the future. So I would love to give this to them, because when I showed you that print before, we're already on Mars, and so that's kind of like my humor is, bro, we're already there. So what took you so long to come to Earth? And I'm going to show him my picture of my Terminator guy standing on Mars with a box of these. I'm like, where you been? So, the gentleman's name again?
That is Chris.
Chris. So, Chris, I'm going to give you, I'm feeling you're the Halion box, so, Chris, this is for you. So the cool thing about this blend is different than the Wormhole series, and it's different than Expected and the Unexpected. So these two are two different sizes, basically the same blend. These tobaccos are disappearing very quickly, so if you have an opportunity to talk to a retailer, you got to get these. You got to get the box. You got to smoke the cigars because they are disappearing. I'm out of this tobacco.
MG's got a special request. Live fan right here in Mona wants a box.
We'll bring them over.
Go over.
We have a guest appearance here, so I gotta say, there's about 100 people inside the Mona Lounge. Greg, would you say that? Come around, my friend.
It's
How
packed.
you doing?
Good, man. How's everything?
Good. What's your name?
Ron, man.
Ron,
Like
this
that
is
ring
Ron.
you got.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, what's going on, man?
So you're getting one of these boxes?
My man, Expect the Unexpected 1964. I kind of like that. That's what I'm talking
Wait
about.
till you
know
smoke
what I'm
this
saying?
cigar. Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah,
delivery.
hey, you know what I'm saying? We do a little something, you know what I'm saying? Life is good.
Richmond, Virginia?
I'm originally from Syracuse, New York, but
Syracuse?
residing now here in Richmond,
Oh,
working for the
fantastic.
federal government.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah,
so
appreciate it.
You're online with a bunch of consumers around the U.S. that are, big fans of La Gloria, Cubana, and Foundry. So, Ron, you're going to get one of these boxes.
Oh, I'm excited,
Thanks for
man.
being here.
I'm going to make sure I share it with all my friends, and it's a pleasure meeting you. And
My pleasure.
Hey, I'm grateful to have this opportunity, and we're going to smoke this on up.
I love it.
My man, I appreciate that.
My pleasure. Thank
Wait
you
till
for
all my
coming.
homeboys see this, man. They're going to be ecstatic.
Now
Thank
you
you,
can
sir.
tell me you're on camera.
All right, my
Thank
man.
you, Ron.
All right, thank
Take
you.
care. Thank
Good
you.
luck to you.
Thank
Same
you.
to you, my man.
You never know who's going to pop in here.
Fans everywhere. All right, let's go with.
Get Helion away.
All right, let's Rich Childers.
All right, Rich, what's your question?
All right, so he asks, what is your favorite method of predicting the future? Crystal balls, crystal skulls, seances, or time travel?
Wow. Can I go off the menu and pick?
Oh, you can always go off the
So how do I predict the future? I learned from great, like Alvin Toffler, if you guys have ever heard of him. You kind of look at what's going on currently, and you folks out there may think I'm absolutely out of my mind, and there's a lot of that, but the reality is, I kind of look at what goes on in the world and I pay attention to it. And this whole idea that I had 3 years ago is I wanted to tell this 5-chapter book and do it in 3 years. But what I do is I pay attention to what's going on in the world and where I think it's going to go. And I only apply it to what I do in the cigar industry because that's my true passion. So I look at different things. I look at fashion. I look at technology. I read lots of newspapers. I read lots of internet stuff. And stuff just strikes me that's very unique. So what I'm doing, a lot of this is fact-based, it's science-based, and it's stuff that's actually going to happen. So for me, I take it in my craft and I'm like, here's where I want to go with the industry and how can I get there. So, when I launched the Martian Tobacco at our trade show in Vegas this year in July, people thought like, dude, but when you start talking to people, like, listen, I'm truly not that insane. What it is that we're going to go there, we just don't realize it. And I'm just taking it forward.
All right.
So time travel was probably the next thing. I would love to time travel, and I want to go to Mars.
All right, so we have a question from Raymond Clouda.
So Raymond, we got to get something to Raymond.
So I have a feeling that Raymond shares some of the same interests as you.
Okay. Why do you say that?
And since we've been talking about the future, he asks, in the future, how does the blacklist end?
So how do you know I like the blacklist? So, Raymond, I think, what happens is, I think Spader's character just falls off the radar, off the grid, in that the last episode he's actually going to jump to probably when he's 80 years old, and they're going to find him in a Caribbean island still pushing the buttons that he pushes, and he's just going to rake horrible things he's done in his life, but I think he's going to find peace. And so that's for you. This is the last of the small batches that I have. This one is the this is basically a remote control boat. The cigar looks like that. I didn't want to crack the seal in this box. Different blend of tobaccos. This is one of the last 10 that I had. I only made 500 boxes of this. Completely different blend in the Foundry tobacco. But what's unique about this is why this was a fascinating invention. When you look at this, it's almost like a newspaper print of Victorian garb looking at this remote control boat in the middle of a lake. Think about that in 1912. Now we got drones. Back then, this was so crazy that nobody knew how this was working. That's what that homage was. Yes, sir.
Can we give away some
Let's give away.
elements?
So, let's go. So this is compounds, elements, and music. Do we have a question with that or no?
Yes.
Oh, we
Yes,
did.
we do.
Okay.
All right, so this one.
Let's see if we like this question.
No, we're gonna hold back judgment.
No, we're not.
All right. This is from James Palmer.
Okay, James.
He asks, how can I develop a taste to distinguish different elements of your lines?
Of my line. So, part of the thing that I found is that you need to try everything, and why I created a bunch of different varieties of this and my twist on off of current tobaccos, but twisting it just a little bit is, I'm trying to test your palate that if you think something's going to taste like this, it's not going to, because I did something differently. So I recommend that you get a sampling of everything, and really, there's no art to, thinking that you're either right or wrong. If you like one of these blends, that's fantastic. If you don't, I'm fine with that. It's really my take on that, and so it's a very subjective thing, and I kind of like that because some people really like, their food cooked one certain way, and some people, and it's your variety of tastes. So I recommend you try everything. I think that's what great chefs do, and that's what I think I love to do with blending. I try stuff all the time and just kind of hit how it hits, but it's my interpretation of what I think I like, of what I do like, and what my team likes, and that's what we bring out to the market. And if you are in the same vein and like that, I will surprise you with what we're doing. So that's a great question.
It's from James.
James, this is the lithium, and it kind of looks like a battery. And so what I did with this tobacco, so you guys kind of know, I've got like 6 here, and it's Dominican Republic, Honduras. This one's tick Nicaragua. It's tick's Mexican. But at the last one, I have smoking. And there's so many times that when I'm with consumers and with guys in my office or anywhere, it's like, hey man, what's it taste like? I'm like, bro, just smoke the cigar. So what's highlighted here, James, is Nicaraguan and Mexican tobacco, and then the other stuff I'm not really telling you about. So you will taste those two components that I brought to life, and everything else around it will be very interesting and different. So this is for you, lithium. The box is really cool. It's basically a cedar sleeve with 12 cigars packed in here. What I really give a testament on my whole Foundry line is our box makers in Nicaragua and our box makers in the Republic. These guys are absolute masters at that. And so when I ask them to make stuff like this, it's truly the artisanship and the team effort that it takes to bring this to life. So I hope you get appreciation for that, because it's kind of what I love. It's not only the packaging, but it's also got to be the great cigar. Okay.
All right, so we actually have another elements question that just came in. This one is from Houston JD.
Okay.
Not sure if that's his given name or imagine a handle perhaps. MG, what was the mission behind the elements line? Very clever.
Thank you. So the elements line was, earlier I spoke about I wanted to get a PhD in psychology, and I had to take a lot of science courses, and my only misstep in my career was I couldn't memorize eventually the periodic table. And I've been out of school for a bunch of years, and about 3 years ago, I started thinking about it over a summer. I woke up one day and I'm like, stop fretting about this. If you can't win at the game, create your own. And so the whole compounds, elements, and musing, the packaging, and the concepts behind it is really my take what I'm going to remember as the periodic table. And so it's compounds, elements, and musings. And the musings are my inspiration. So my thing is, 2 years ago I did a whole thing with 3 blends, 3 different wrappers, all the same sizes, but they had, it was 8, and that's what you do with elements. You put them together. We all know what water is. Water wasn't significant with the tobacco. It was more about the bands, which were typewriter keys, and it reminded me of the Three Stooges when I was a kid, when they didn't have cufflinks. So, to me, that's how I remember stuff. This one is called Cobalt, and actually this box opens up. And growing up as a kid in Philadelphia, we had 3 Mile Island, and of course we thought the world was going to end. So, Cobalt to me, and in German means goblin. And so what I wanted to do is cooling towers with a really cool goblin on top of it. But when you open up the box, these are box pressed cigars. And so here's the cooling towers stacked on each other. So you got 5, and then underneath it you got another 5 cigars. Stack up, and you've got Cobalt. And then again, if you want to know what the blends are, Nicaraguan, Mexican, and Misterioso. And that's what this is. When you smoke the blends, though, this is fun for me to do the packaging, but it's my interpretation of my periodic table. 3 Mile Island. Don't know what it has to do with Cobalt, but to me, that's what it reminded me of. It's kind of a fun and whimsical way to kind of take a very serious science project and make it a ton of fun. So this goes to JD Houston, or Houston?
Yeah, Houston JD.
But when you smoke these blends, you will be blown away by how different they are. So, Houston, that's for you, my friend.
So we actually have a fan here. This one just came in with a bit of a dilemma.
Uh-oh.
So figured since you're all about helping the so I think that's going to come in real handy.
So this is the 24. It's a completely different blend. I think we only made about 120,000 cigars of this, and that is really unique, tasty cigar, and this is going to.
All right.
Who's this going to?
This is going to Dana Whitfield. And her question is, love your blends, but hard to find.
Yes.
Where can I get your cigar?
So Dana, I'm not sure where you're located. You shop at your local retailer. Please go ask them to carry this stuff. You can hit us on on Twitter at Foundry Cigars, where you're located at, and we'll make sure that retailer gets it, but you also should ask for it. I don't have a lot of this stuff, so we don't have this in wide distribution. Part of what I'd love to do is kind of put stuff in specific areas, so you guys can go hunt for it. I know it's hard to find some of this, but if you ask your retailer, we'll be able to provide for you.
Great.
So, there you go. If you don't ask, you're not going to get. And we can help you with that.
All right, so we have a question here from, let me see, where'd it go? This is at the Hick. At the Hick. H-I-L-K.
H-I-L-K.
There's no L there, but I'll believe him. The Hilk.
The Hilk.
Sorry,
All
the
right,
Hick.
bro, great name.
Yes.
That's like a cigar brand.
He wants to know, what's your favorite invention or work of art?
R2 Man, of course. I love the created. I love the helicopter that he designed. I mean, there's just a bunch of stuff. You know, every time I kind of get time to look at stuff like that, I'm blown away by the imagination of this guy sitting in Italy. I need to create this thing that's going to spin in the air because I need to go to Milan. I don't know why you were thinking that and that you didn't have the technology, but truly, to me, he's one of the true geniuses on this planet, and to this day, his influence still hits us. That's what the whole Foundry kind of thing started with, at the Victorian era, when they were able to have the technology to build some of this, and they look back 400 years, and they can start building it, and to this day, I mean, computer geeks and, you know, engineers still go back to this to see could they really build this stuff? It's fascinating. It's amazing to me, the foresight that this gentleman had. And I'm sure if he came back today in a time machine and looked at this, he'd be blown away by what he created.
You want to give away another one?
Yeah, great
right,
question. You know what? We need to give something to help.
You want to do a...
Yeah, absolutely.
There we go.
So it's with an, have we confirmed an L or no? H-I-L-K.
Sources are saying that it is H-I-L-K. Terrible handwriting is saying that it's H-I-K, which I'm going to go.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to go with the sources on this one.
Hey, Megan. Megan. So, Megan, come around this way. So I want to ask you a question. You work with me every day, and because we're not on the clock, so to speak, we're not in the office. Is there ever a question you've always wanted to ask me that you wouldn't ask in front of everybody, so you can embarrass the hell out of me?
Can you leave when you die? Can you leave me some of your jewelry?
I would love to.
Just kidding.
Yeah, no,
just
but
kidding.
Anything that you wanted to ask?
You're really putting me on the spot.
Okay, I mean, you don't have to ask that, but you know what's cool about this industry is that, you know, Megan came in a bunch of years ago, and how many years?
Yes.
4 years ago.
3.
No, it's longer than that. It seems like longer, in a good way. And what's cool is, you know, this industry is dominated by a lot of guys. To have Megan come in with her amazing talent, and I remember one of the first questions she asked us was this an old boys network? And boy, did she fit in really well, and she really keeps us in line, and she's become one of our powerhouses in the office. So, you know, I just personally wanted to thank you, the part of our team. You had no idea what you were getting, how insane we are at times, but it's a real honor to have you on board with us and all your amazing talent. So
Thank
I just
you, Michael.
wanted to thank you.
It wouldn't be the same without you.
Well.
And if you left, I'm not sure how much longer I would last.
Oh, you're so sweet. Oh, thank you, Megan. Thank you. And thank you for coming. Megan's got 2 beautiful, adorable daughters, and so she actually took them to gymnastics. You don't mind I share that with it, and she wanted to really, really touched and honored that you're here. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. All right, bro, let's keep going.
All right.
Is everybody having fun? My control board person?
Oh yeah, Andrew's having a
How we
blast.
doing? You guys having fun out there?
Having people participating, so that's
Okay.
great.
So,
all right, so we have
another box of Halions. So again, this is the spaceship. If you haven't seen this, it's made with Martian tobacco. And if you ask me if there's Martian tobacco in here, I'm going to tell you yes.
All right, so this one
Think about that.
is at Ricky M45, but he goes by Ricky.
Yeah. If you go at Ricky, all right, Ricky.
All right, he has a 2-part question.
Okay, love 2-part question.
All right, number 1, what does the mad scientist have planned for Foundry in 2018? And then the other question, how many buttons are in your spaceship?
Ooh. So, all right, I'll answer the first question first. There are no buttons in my is actually voice activated, and actually will have a sensor on my brain that will do what I think, and I think that's what the easiest thing, so you can kind of navigate that way, and that's what I kind of see in the future. What I have in for Foundry is, you know, the Foundry line, the whole the great innovators from the Victorian era, Tesla versus Edison, the Word Occurrence, and the Wormhole series is done. I don't have anything else to say. 2064 and the Growing Tobacco on Mars, the story's over. Anything else? But also, there is a few cigars left, and that's really what's driven why I have to kill this project. What I have in the future is, for this year, is something very interesting, and I think you guys will all be jazzed. I'm kind of looking forward and backward at the same time. It's kind of in the milieu of what's going on currently, and you will be blown away by what you see. and I'm excited to start working on this. It's an idea I've had for a while, and the timing is actually right. So it will get to the core of what the cigar industry is about in a really unique way. And because I work at General Cigar, I have an opportunity to do something very different. And so General Cigar, so you guys know, Foundry is an offshoot cigar, and I get to work inside that. So the tobacco company is its own little boutique world where I can kind of bring things to life that you wouldn't see in our major brands. And the people that you've met tonight are part of the great folks that work on this. So, you know, it says we're a corporate company, we're truly not. It is a company of great people. It's a company of great cigar masters, a company of great distribution people. It's a company of great accountants, a company of great cigar rollers. It's a company of great tobacco people, farmers, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a ton of passion up and down the line. And out of that, you will see something very unique coming out of Foundry Tobacco Company. It's going to be three things. And they're all going to be tied in a very unique way. So that's all I want to share with you. But when you see, I am so excited about it that I want to just tell you what it is, but I can't.
All right.
I hope that answers your question.
Can we just?
Absolutely.
You're a generous soul.
Well, we
brought
bought
a
enough
lot
of
to
stuff.
give away.
So this is Chill and Moose. This is part of the whole different line. I wanted to do a really value price cigar, and what this is bigger ring gauges in the $3 to $4 price point. And the idea here was, you know, my takeoff of this was Bullwinkle, big Rocky and Bullwinkle fan, but what I got inspired by, because I didn't want to get sued by whoever owns that trademark, to me it was an aphorism to cigar smokers. If you saw Moose sitting in a field joining a cigar in the sunlight, and you walked up to him and you would not say to him, hey man, you need to extinguish your cigar. You'd walk the other way because he's much bigger than you. And so to me, it's an allegory to cigar smokers. Bro, I'm not bothering you. We're very generous people. We're very kind folks, and that's what I've met with all the great cigar consumers out there and fans. You know, I'm peacing with the world. I'm chilling. Leave me alone. Let me smoke my cigar. So if you look at his eye, he's got the stink eye, the crook eye, and evil eye. Don't come tell me I need to put my cigar out. So it's a great price point, big ring gauges. This is a really great blend. We've been doing very well with this. So something that you don't have a ton of time with, and you want something with a ton of flavor, Chill and Moose series. Who's getting the Chill and Moose?
Oh, that one.
I thought Steve was going to pick some of these, but you become like the gift.
Is it? Well, I mean,
Greg,
Santa Claus here.
I don't want poor Steve over here.
I
Steve, what do you think
apologize.
about that?
I think that's a great idea. I'd love to pick a few, but
Come on over. I got to find out who that was. What was the question even?
So, Steve, you know, I want to get Steve back in here because he's patiently standing here. Steve, you're not upset that Greg's kind of taking this.
Oh no, Greg, you're doing a great job, man. I think.
You know, because we're friends, I got to break his chops a little bit. Let him pick one?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out who that's for.
Bro,
Who's it for?
Let's do the old pin the tail on donkey. Can I do any of these?
Who is the gentleman just asked
Oh,
me about?
it was a double question,
Yeah,
wasn't
the
it?
two questions.
Yes.
Sorry, bro.
That was Ricky.
Ricky. No, Ricky already got
that
him.
was Ricky on the other one.
So you're all screwed up.
Am I getting kicked
So
out
am I.
now? I'm getting kicked
Ricky
out.
already got.
Amir wants a box right now.
Amir.
Get Amir. We gotta get Amir back on here.
Yeah.
So let's read a question.
All right. Other question. You want to handle this one?
All right, which one? That one? That's from L.A.
Minetti?
Minetti. Yeah. Okay, got it. What's the best way to open the cigar tip when you don't have a cutter or punch?
That's a great question. So LA, you're gonna get a box of Chill and Moose. You know what we do in the factory. So if you look at the cigar, and I'm gonna take. I already cut some of these, but the coolest thing about a cigar, we use triple seam caps. Basically, it's called a buelo, and so when you make the cigar, you actually make a little paisley, and then you wrap the cigar around it, right? And so what you end up getting is what the cap does. It's basically a lipstick, rounded lipstick holder or a bullet shell, whatever the rollers personalized to have, and then they sharpen them and they actually just make the round hole. So what we do in the factory when we don't have that, you basically take your fingernail. And I don't have large fingernails, and you just peel the cap off, and that's all you need to do. So in a pinch, sorry for the pun, just peel the cap off. You can see it, and you just peel the cap off, and now you're done.
Perfect.
What's cool about a tool though is a tool is toys, and we all like toys. So, I mean, I love this punch cutter that I use all the time. It's just fun. Basically, all I'm doing is just piercing the top of the cigar. It's no different than peeling the cap off, and that's what you end up with. So, one of my personal preferences is using this bullet cutter. And guillotines and V-cuts are fun too. The wrong answer with cutters. It's whatever you have, whatever you want to spend on a cutter, whatever you have access to. In a pinch, use your fingernail. So,
All right.
LA, that's for you, my friend. Break.
Excellent.
So
All right, Amir, where are you, Amir?
we've been
Come over
told
here.
that there is a something's
Amir.
happening at the bar.
They are all waiting for my cigars. I've been talking about them.
Well, thank you, Amir. This is why you're such a wonderful host.
Oh, thank you, sir.
I am absolutely honored. Amir opened a wonderful lounge to us tonight, and he's done this twice for us, so I'm honored that you want a box for me. So, do you want me to do this to Mona or to you? You know, we're doing this to you, bro.
Sure.
We're gonna get Sharpies running out here. Guys, seriously, and ladies, if you're not in town, you ever come to Richmond, Virginia, I will be here. I will buy you drinks. If I'm sitting here by myself, I'm gonna buy you dinner. So hit us on La Gloria at La Gloria Cigars, or hit me at Foundry Cigars. If I'm in town, I will have dinner with you. Amir will be here. We will smoke cigars together, and you will have a fun time. So,
Thanks, Mike.
Amir, thank you so much, my
Thanks
friend.
for the business, sir.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
That's for you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
one of the ladies that may want to take you up on that is actually just tweeted in here.
Come on in.
This is this at Stepford Bunny. Promising start.
I love that.
She loves you, and she wants to win.
Well,
So
sometimes it's not that hard. So how do I sign this?
at Stepford Bunny.
Stepford Bunny.
Maybe you're giving it to her, but
That's creative. Do we have a question or no?
no, she just wants to win and loves you. So
Okay, I love you too. How we doing? Everybody having fun? Yeah?
gosh, yeah.
And that's for you. So I'm taking you up on this.
Hey, Steve, we have a question from another Steve.
Excellent.
There you go.
Little Steve to Steve
Okay.
generosity.
I'll step back in, Greg.
Steve Roberts there.
Steve Roberts. I live in Vegas. Humidity about 10%.
Wow, I know.
Yeah, that's tough. What's the optimal humidor level so the sticks don't go into shock?
You know, Vegas, we go out, Steve and I go out a couple times a year. I mean, we were there for the big smoke in November.
It's dry.
It's dry. It was dry in the summer. I mean, Vegas is a really interesting thing. The only thing I can tell you is if you like playing with your cigars in your humidor, then you need to go in there pretty much once a week and kind of see how you like the cigars. Probably need to add water to it. Probably in the winter time, I think you probably the humidor a little bit and let that out. I mean, this is something that you got to find trial and error. It's really, really hard to kind of tell you because, you know, every time we go out there, we actually fill up our trade booth with cigars, and by that night, everything's sucked out and the cigars just dry. And so we try not to put a lot of those cigars out, and we actually have lots of and so because the cigar's basically drinking the moisture. So that's what happens with cigars. When you're in a humidor, you want the moisture to be leached out of the humidor and not so the cigars can drink, rather than the cigars leaching it out of the humidor wood and there's not enough water in it and then they start to dry out. And you got to really test with that. Easiest thing to do is go in there, feel how you like cigars. Some guys like them really spongy and ladies, and some guys like them really hard, meaning that they're soft to the touch. I personally like my cigars about 65% humidity. They're a little bit on the drier side, but I find that, you know, I can get a lot of intense flavors out of it because I don't like a lot of moisture in my cigar. So it's really a personal thing. I think you got to really, you know, play with the cigar. kind of gauge it throughout the time, throughout the year while you're there, and either add moisture, add water. The worst thing on the planet to do is have the cigar dry out and try to bring it back, because you can bring a cigar back, but if you do it too quickly, what will happen is you'll pop the wrapper, and there's really not much you can do after that.
Now, can you put, just a follow up to that, can you put tap water, or do you need to put distilled? What's your take on that?
Water, because it doesn't have any bacteria in it. I have a home. I don't have a whole stand-up case, and I use tap water just because I guess I'm a little lazy. But I haven't really noticed a difference. And I'm lucky because I can, if my humidification system gets a little dried out or whatever, I have a ton of them around me. So
right.
I've used that. I think propylene glycol, which you can buy, actually helps you set the humidity level at a certain point, and also helps the bacteria from forming there. So I personally use tap water. Distilled water is fine. I remember when I was a kid with a fish tank, I would ask my mom, hey, I need to get distilled water. My mom, distilled water. You know what you do with distilled water? You actually put it in a jug, use tap water, and let it sit overnight, and now it turns into distilled water. And my fish never died. No.
Yeah.
So that's another way to do it.
So that was Steve Roberts. So we have
we
another.
Need to get Steve.
What are we getting here?
Steve, we're going to give you a chillin' moose too.
Another chillin' moose. I'm going to take the wrapper off here so
Thank
you can
Steve.
sign it for Steve Roberts.
By the way,
Vegas.
these are made, and this is the 6x60 size you're going to get. Gus. Gus, you need to ask me a question, Gus. Steve, thank you.
All right,
Steve,
you bet.
come over here, please. Between you and me, and nobody else.
Yeah, what's up?
How's Gloria enjoying her birthday at the Mona Lounge?
She is so excited that she was on your webcast. And in fact, she just sent a note to our oldest daughter and told her she was on the cast, and people were tweeting. And this is, I'm telling you from the heart, I never thought I'd say the word tweet ever. And
Really?
so she was excited. We got so much love from everybody out there on her birthday. She loves it and appreciates it. It's a very special 21st birthday for her.
Wow. And you're what, 82?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, she had a great
so
time.
now tomorrow, we haven't had school here in Richmond for how many days?
Yeah,
Right?
it'll be 5 days.
5 days. So tomorrow maybe they'll go back to school. Or
No,
something.
they already canceled it again.
So now, your wife has now made your kids. My mom is now like a cool superstar. So
Yes.
when she goes in and your mom's on Twitter and they never knew that, they're going to be like, Mrs. Martinez was on Twitter and she's such a rock star. See, this is what we like to do in this environment. We like to change people's perceptions of what goes in it. Laurie, look at that. You're a rock star now with all the kids in the schools.
I'm sorry.
You're a rock star with all the kids in the stores that you now have to tweet. You're the coolest mom on the block.
I am awesome.
You are awesome. Yes. That's so cool.
So actually, can I interrupt here for a second?
Yeah.
Of course.
So I know you
Really,
stay
Gus,
here
I guess
because
you're
this
done,
actually
bro.
involves you.
Oh, right. What did
So
I do?
our good friend Ryan Wellner
Ryan.
just tweeted in and said that he was really happy to see that Gus was working hard after hours.
All right. It's great to see you, Ryan.
And he wished everybody a happy birthday.
Oh yeah, and he also wished you a happy birthday. So.
Ryan, my friend. Hope you're doing well. By the way, Ryan is an ex-military guy, a Marine, and for those of you who don't know that, I'm a big fan of the military, police officers and firemen and everybody that supports us. So, Ryan, thank you for your service. I know I've told you this before, and I'm probably embarrassing the hell out of you, but too bad. To everybody out there that is in the military, family members that are there, understand cigar love. Cigar guys like us love you guys, and
Check out the blog too.
Yeah.
The Ryan's story from
read Ryan's story. It's a
last
compelling
Veterans Day.
story. But you all have stories out there. So we're big fans of the military, past, present, and future veterans. So thank you so much. Because what you guys have done for us, we couldn't do here and enjoy our life. So these are times of really critical things. Gus is a big fan of the military as well. He came in being that way, and that's why he's in the cigar industry. That's why he fits in perfectly with us. So, do you have any words about that?
Michael, I'll tell you, it is. It's a blessing to live in a country where people are willing to make that type of sacrifice, so that we're able to do what we want to do and have the freedom and the ability to be able to raise our families in safety and in harmony. And again, from the heart, thank you all so much for your service. It's truly, truly appreciated, and thank you.
Thank you, guys. Ryan, that's for you, my friend. Thank you, Gus.
Thank you, Mike. Bless you guys.
God bless you too. Happy birthday, Lori. I will. Thank you. All right, more questions.
We have time for 2 more.
Why? We're done?
Well,
We got more stuff.
You can. We have time for 2 more prizes.
Okay.
So,
Oh, okay.
So this one is from Bob Langmaid.
All right, say that again.
Bob. Let's just go Bob.
Bob Langmaid. You got
Yeah.
that right.
Yeah.
Bob, I hope we got your name right.
His question is, how does the decision on which tobaccos to use in a specific blend get made?
So, Bob, you're going to get a box of the lithiums. There's 12 cigars in here. I mean, the idea here was, when I look, what did I want lithium to be? So, my thought was, lithium, there's a couple ways you're going to go on with that. I thought, looking at the world now, we all have cell phones and laptops and every other accessory on the planet. Everybody's trying to figure out this battery thing. So for me, when I came up with lithium, I thought, it should be a battery because that's what we all kind of think about. So there's kind of that logic. And then that led me into, what do I want this blend to be? It's got to have some energy to it. And so what I did with this was Nicaraguan and Mexican. And then the smoking part, which I said earlier, you need to smoke this because this will energize you. And so that's how that came. So when I was working on the blend for this, that's kind of my thought process of what I wanted to come up with. The fun thing about making cigars and using really tobaccos and having the resources to do that is I worked that way with this because I had the idea of the packaging first and then what did I want to be. It's different than La Gloria Cubana, where La Gloria Cubana, I have certain parameters in my head of what I can do with that brand, and I'm not going to do something super wild because to me, it's not a brand that has to be as wild as it needs to be. La Gloria for me, I look about stuff that I do with tobaccos and specific tobaccos that I use. Here it's about, I get to use some really unique, different things to really bring out something completely different, which kind of fits into this specific taste where La Gloria has a signature taste to it as well. And I hope that answers your question, Bob. We only had 2. You got 2 more here.
You're a man of your word.
Okay.
And Tommy Metzger?
Tommy, yes. But Tommy wanted...
We were taking care of Tommy at the end here.
So my thought. I know you won the social media piece in November, and we kind of had picked out this date back then, and I thought, what a much more powerful way to really, make this personal by me looking at you and actually signing this in front of you, and to me it meant a lot because you've been a big fan. Tommy, by the way, he's now part of the other society, is the Mad Order of Scientists, and Tommy's one of the initial members to this, and this is kind of being released now. And so I really wanted to connect with you by autographing this in front of you. Here you go. So, bro, Foundry, The Unexpected, which is the 1964, and you're going to get a box of the Cobalts. And so, here we go, my friend. So there's one box. Something over?
Yeah, it's all right.
And here's your Cobalt box, my friend. And I know it's freezing in Tennessee. So this should keep you warm. All right, we have a lot more.
I think you broke the internet. So many people have been watching you for hours.
Really?
We've had a lot, so.
You gotta sign off and say goodnight.
All right, so, really, I don't want to leave.
I know you don't.
All right, so everybody, thank you so much. Here's a couple things I want to tell you. If you have any questions or follow-up questions that we didn't answer, did this at La Gloria Cigars. You can hit us at cigars.com. You can hit us at Foundry Cigars. Hit us on Twitter. Hit us on Facebook. Across all those things.
Yeah, we're on. You're on Instagram. You're on and Facebook at Foundry Cigars on everything, and same with Gloria.
So, if I bored you tonight, which I hope I haven't, reach out to us and tell me that if you want.
And you're always giving away stuff on all those, everywhere.
And I know, and you keep winning some of that stuff. I appreciate that, Greg. Thank you.
It's completely.
So, thank you so much for your time. If you guys have any questions, comments or anything, hit us. I really look forward to you. I am going on the road, so I will be in San Diego next week. If you guys are in, we're just going to go in for a couple meetings, but we're going to go see some smoke shops. I will be in Seattle. If any of you folks are in that area, just check out our web pages. And I'm going to be in mid-March. I'm going to be somewhere. And also, really cool thing that we're doing for La Gloria Cubana. We're doing a rolling event, 30 events, right, Steve? 30 events. I've got my master Raza. You guys have probably met. He's always our roller at the Cigar Aficionados Big Smoke in Vegas. I will pop in there. The cool thing about this is Leo is now going to roll a special size only at those events for Serie RS Elite. Only at those events you can get them, and they're not going to be released at all. So those are kind of some fun stuff that's coming up. Thank you so much, everybody out there, and
See you soon.
see ya.